Going live.
Shared.
Boom. All right, boys and girls, you know what to do. We are here, but we're not here until you can hear what we are here to say. So let us know if you can hear us, if we're coming through loud and clear. First and foremost, I want to say a big old thank you to you guys for being here. We already got a super chat coming in. That is very much appreciated. Thank all of you guys. Seriously, it's Friday today. It's a day earlier than we normally do these. We got some news to talk about, some fresh trailers. Everything's going according to plan at Marvel.
You guys are a test audience. See how Friday streams do.
And,
So,
oh, look out. They can hear. They can hear. Coy
Good.
is my guy, says Hellcat Big Rude 88.
it's a great name. There's a lot going on in there.
Absolutely.
Big Rude
Coy,
Hellcat.
thank you for being here
Very
with me
excited.
today. I've been looking forward to streaming with you
It's been a long
again.
time.
It has.
It's been months.
It has been many months.
Crazy.
It feels
Absurd.
like many a moon, and we are the two most organized, efficient guys on this channel.
Oh, it's
so
going
get
to be
ready.
very efficient and smooth.
Chop, chop,
As it
man.
already
That's
is.
how I love to live my life. So we are on a bit of a time crunch. Got a busy schedule today.
Friday.
You know, as you can see, I am in the seat right here. I'm going to be doing the stuff that Greg normally does. Before we begin, quick round of applause for Greg. I would love, again, to get all three of us on a stream, but he is out. He is tackling tasks and taking meetings and whatnot. So, you know,
Business,
he
Greg.
is nosing on the grindstone. So we are here to talk about the news this week. We got plenty of stuff to dive into. And yeah, but just before we do that, once again, seriously, thank you guys for being here. And thank you as well to anybody who contributes, no matter how big or small. It really, really helps out a lot, especially with these live streams. You know, playback can be a little bit tricky. And your guys' support helps to boost these in the algorithm, gets
likes.
more eyeballs on them. And especially, you know, we try to keep these as family-friendly as we can, but sometimes it's hard. Sometimes they do get limited or restricted in ways. So yeah, your guys' support and your interactions just in general make all the difference. So really, really appreciate you guys. If you leave a super chat or a Streamlabs, there's a pinned link for the Streamlabs. You know, YouTube doesn't take a cut of that, but really anything and everything is appreciated. And if you contribute, your contribution, your question, your comment will be read. It will be read, guaranteed. So we got a lot to get to, as we've already got a few streaming in. So I think that's all the housekeeping.
You did it. You said the
on
things.
the
You
notes.
hit the things.
Absolutely. Before the monumental moment in every live stream where Coy takes over.
I mean, it's in the text. It's right there,
Yes.
but it's also I'm going to behave today. I'm going to see how well. Let's see how nice I can be to strangers.
I like it. You know,
That's the idea.
especially after the very calm live stream you guys
Oh,
had
yeah,
talking
we had such a
about
time.
the Marvels, which everyone agrees upon.
Oh, 100%. They got Twitter Koi last week.
Oh, Twitter Coy.
I think Live Koi and Twitter Koi are very similar.
We got Insta Coy today. That's
Yeah,
what I'm
he's going to
talking
be
about.
civil adjacent.
Hey.
He's got to be right there. PG-13 rage.
Yeah, I like. Oh, that's good. I like it. Let's see who's in the chat really quick. We got Olivia Hamelin. What's up? Kevin Shepard, Nerdy
Lloyd
Wave.
Templos asking who hasn't been thought of who'd be a great Reed Richards. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, hey.
Haven't heard that name mentioned. He'd be great.
Coy.
He's got that intelligence. He's got that movie star quality. He's got that
like
caring of
it.
family. He's a family
I
man.
like
He's got a little bit of that
Coy.
pomposity in a good way. I think Joe has that, like, I can use polysyllabic words eloquently. I'm going to go Joe Gordon-Levitt.
I'm going.
JGL.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. Coy, I'm going James Remar for Mr. Fantastic. I
All
think
right,
he'd
all
bring it. And just at his current age, I think is appropriate. And
Totally.
then keep everybody at the other rumored castings.
Very comfortable.
You know, Elizabeth Debicki or whoever's supposed
Be
to
great.
be, or is it the other one from Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible.
Gotcha.
But I was letting you have it. I was letting you have it. You're like, hey, that's also
I
a
get
good
her
one.
mixed up with Elizabeth Debicki all the time.
Vanessa Kirby.
Vanessa Kirby, there you go. We got Bruh Memento. We got Jordan Style, Jamie Smith, MJR Tom Music, Aisha Kenya in the chat. We got, who else? Jazzy Man. We got so many lovely and beautiful faces. All right. Well, hey, I you know, again, I'm going to do my best to moderate, and I feel like now's the good as any time to jump into our first topic. I feel like, you know, one of the main I don't know. Which do you think is bigger, the F4 or the Kang?
Well, the
you know?
Kang is a little bit more confirmed.
Sure. Okay, we can start there then.
Yeah, let's go there because it is tangible.
Sure. Yes.
Let's just talk about the fact that we have probably not getting Kang the movie. Kang Dynasty. I feel like that's. I mean, you lose a writer, you lose a director. It's just a weird way to go about canceling a movie in parts.
Yeah. Who was that? That was Jeff Loveness.
Yeah, Jeff Loveness made an announcement last week,
and Destin Daniel Cretton has exited as well.
But he's not leaving the Marvel Universe because he's focusing on Shang-Chi 2. He's also involved with Wonder Man, which got announced this week. I don't know if you heard, as a Marvel Searchlight.
Okay.
So Wonder Man is still a go-go. They're actually resuming.
Explain to the people.
So Marvel Searchlight is going to be a focus on individual characters that are going to be within the MCU, but not a focal point. So it's not saying they're out of continuity necessarily. It could be, but like, for example, if they made Werewolf by Night now, they'd probably call it a Marvel Searchlight, and then later on, you might get to see Werewolf by Night in another movie, but it's like you don't have to see this to go into the next Avengers film. It's not like mandatory viewing. So it allows you to be a little bit more flexible with what you must watch. So Marvel Searchlight is kind of like an annual or a one-off, a one-shot, a mini-series in comic terminology. It's going to be like a little isolated baby boy. So Searchlight is going to be Wonder Man. It's going to be Echo. It's going to be a few other things. It's Spotlight. I watched a Fox Searchlight movie last night, and I was thinking about how much I missed Fox Searchlight as kind of a similar thing where it's like Fox, but like the more indie contained thing. So now in my head, they're the same. I'm so sorry, everyone, for repeating Spotlight 100 times.
No joke. I was literally about to ask you if this was like through Fox Searchlight as like a means of making more independent.
In my brain, I made them one.
Yeah.
Spotlight. Okay. Apologies. But I do think Spotlight is smart, and I'm excited about Wonder Man. So Destin is no longer in the Marvel business. He still very much is, but I don't feel like Kang Dynasty is happening.
Gotcha. Okay. I mean, that'll be a bummer, but obviously that's giving way to something that people are very much excited about. And I mean, before we jump on to the elephant in the doom, what do you guys think? Just are you dismayed by this? I know that the Kang storyline thus far, and the overarching quality of it has not amounted to as much as they promised. So, I mean, would you guys be bummed or upset to lose the prospect of, this Kang-centric, trio of phases, really? It seemed like it was going to, carry through to, or
quite
at least heavily slingshot into the Secret Wars and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, would you... Yeah, Greg is sleeping finally, hopefully.
No, Greg's a bevy of meetings.
The last time Greg actually slept on record was somewhere in like March of 2020,
March 2021.
Right when the world shut down. That's when he took a nap.
That was a full sleep though. 2021, I heard he got a nap in. He does rest Rip Van Winkle style, but only for like a day.
Rip Van Alba.
Rip Van Gregel?
I tried. Yeah, there you go. That's better than mine. Yours is better than mine, Coy, as is oft known to be the case. And so, yeah, this is potentially going to lead us into a switcheroo where we get Dr. Doom instead of Kang the Conqueror.
It was always going to be Doom. And that's what I think is going to be tricky is now you don't have... I think it was pretty obviously not necessarily to every audience, but to the comic audience that Secret Wars is very Doom-based. So I thought the plan from the jump was going to be Kang Dynasty is a Kang-centric film, much like Infinity War, but instead of it being like, oh my god, a 1-2 punch of Kang falling into Secret Wars, it was going to be him... Doom taking out Kang to show how OP he is. Yeah. So basically we get, imagine 7 movies of this character and you're like, he's taking out everyone, and then Doom's like, what up? And that shows Doom dominance, if you will. But now without that dominance, how are they going to show how powerful Doom is? Because basically now you got to introduce Doom without that Kang level up, that alley-oop, that 1-2 punch, that Brady the Moss, the unstoppable toss. How are you going to do that in one movie? Because basically now... I imagine you can introduce him in Cap 4 as a geopolitical intrigue like we'd heard they were with Wakanda Forever. I can imagine they can introduce him, obviously, in Fantastic Four. But you've only got so much time before Secret Wars if you don't do Kang Invasion. If they do make Secret Wars a Part 1 and Part 2, tricky.
Well, and two, then my question becomes, is that Captain America 4 retooling really because of all these reportedly terrible test screenings, or... is it because they need to, reconfigure this phase?
I think it's a combination of... I mean, I don't know how much of the rumors of screenings are true. But I do think 6 months is a new movie.
Sure.
The
I know.
Endgame's shoot schedule is 6 months. The reshoots are longer than Endgame's schedule.
Okay.
That's a new move.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm fascinated to see what this is going to amount to in terms of a business thing, just because it seems like Marvel projects, the more modular they become, the more able to reshoot and retool, the more expensive kind of exponentially, the more the budgets balloon on these things. And especially in like a post-Marvel's world where a lot is being made of how costly by comparison each minute of that movie was, and just the fact that that movie seemed like something that, and I don't know the full production history, but something that may have been reworked, retooled as well to some extent. I'm curious to see how this affects their filmmaking approach as well as their storytelling approach, because I mean, this to me says that like they're gonna have to be a lot more careful in the future about what they announce and how much planning they give us in advance, because they debuted 3 phases. I remember that Comic-Con presentation, and granted, that stuff is fleeting and ultimately pretty ephemeral, just because it's just news, and the news cycle is always changing and updating. But at the same time, I feel like we are getting to this point where it might behoove them not to plan out loud so far ahead, because you never know what's going to happen.
Well, it sounds like they got pressured into that. Like, it sounds like Kevin Feige was told he had to announce Fantastic Four, to the point where
someone's got to learn.
Well, that D23 conversation where it's like, yes, we have Fantastic Four. No, we're not talking about it. Look, the director's in the audience. Like, that felt really like, well, this is weird. Like, he felt like mad they had to say it. And I'm like, oh, and now we're finding out it was that awkward. So I don't think they should announce anything more than a year ahead. And I don't think they should announce all these release dates and things that are obviously having to shift. But I would rather them remake Cap 4 than release a bad Cap 4. I'd rather them retool in pre-production and production than in post-production and have haphazard films, because they can't afford the bad word of mouth forever. They can't.
Sure, they can.
They can't skate.
The Marvels is the most profitable movie of the year. Clearly, that's not true.
Marvel's so dead. Marvel's back. Marvel's so dead. Marvel's back. I am so
Marvel's
TikToked
back
out.
In the grave. They're back in the grave.
So we'll see.
Aisha Kenya says they need to bring in Doom as soon as possible, but will it make sense, Coy?
He needs time. You gotta make it count. It's got to be impactful. It's got to be like important, and you don't, like, Thanos took time to feel that weight, and you really need to Cap 4 is the soonest they could do it, and that would be like geopolitical, and I think that'd be smart if they mentioned Latveria and then they had a post-credit scene, but that's the quickest you could do it.
Yeah, I'm very, 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 very curious and fascinated to see how this is going to go. And obviously, we also had the recent news that they are pushing pretty much everything that's not Deadpool 3 into 2025.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Delays can often inspire, wariness. But for me, Marvel delaying is usually like a sign of like, oh, good, they're going to take a little more time and maybe think this through. So yeah, like this seems like a very. This is going to be interesting to watch, basically, to see how they adjust. And yeah, I mean, we've got certainly time,
but not Kang the Conqueror of time.
Yeah, and it does
necessarily, maybe.
I'm most curious to see how they're going to handle this transition, because enough people have been paying attention that the diehards will know and at least just be looking out for how smooth the transition is. But a lot of people out there are just going to be like, wait a minute, I thought we had this Kang guy. What are we doing discarding
But
this?
the way Loki ended, and the way they chose to have Ant-Man end, kind of
in ways
doesn't need to. If that's
in ways
how things
you
work
could
out.
just be done with Kang for right now and have him come back way down the line as somebody else or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, hey, with all this fantastic far talk, that's a pretty nice segue into our all but almost not quite confirmed bit of casting that has taken people much by surprise. Not, I think, the name anyone was expecting necessarily. Coy, that's who you are. Coitus. Who's going to be Mr. Fantastic?
It would seem the people are saying, eyeing, hearing, rumoring, possibly Pedro Pascal.
Oh, the world's daddy.
And the zaddy of us all. He's a multi-universal zaddy. If there's a kid in peril, he's there, reluctantly. I don't know. I love Pedro Pascal, but I just don't. I feel like he's too approachable in a weird way. Like there's something about him that feels like he's rough and tumble, and he's got like this gruffness, but it's not in the way that the gruffness would be an arrogance. I think Pedro Pascal's too cool. Like he's like got a likability about
They're
him.
gonna put glasses on.
And then he's a nerd.
And then he's a nerd, Coy. He's gonna be so clumsy.
I just don't see the arrogance in that way coming out of Pedro Pascal. Like he's a guy that like you run into
Lord,
Oscar Isaac
bro.
on the seat.
Maxwell Lord.
How well would that
Everyone's
go?
favorite role.
The biggest villain in the DCEU. I don't know. Like I like the man. I don't necessarily love this casting, but I do trust in, if it is true, Sarah Haley Finn has not miscast, in my opinion, any very important role, and this is such an important role. Like, it's got to work with the whole family. It's got to work with other Avengers. It's got to work with the Illuminati. Like, this is such an important role, and for my money, she hasn't miscast anyone of that importance.
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
she's so good at seeing 10 years ahead. She's so good at, like, mapping things out. I'd love to have, Pedro Pascal in the MCU. I don't see him as
a
Reed for me.
Okay. I mean, it's one of those things where I heard it and too, was sort of like, oh, I wasn't the last person I was expecting. And I did hear a quote that I'm sure is going to, make the internet so happy, which I don't know if it's verified, but somebody said that, like Kevin Feige remarked, like, this is a very white Fantastic Four. We should mix it up maybe at least a little bit. And so, I don't know, maybe that had something to do with it. But I do like the idea of having a casting choice for a character as iconic as this that isn't likely, because looking back, I feel like some of the most memorable, the most impactful, the most iconic comic book movie performances have been those choices where everyone's like, what? Why? Like, why would you choose this person? Or what have they done in the past that would suggest that they should do this?
And I won't be upset until I see it, and then I don't feel connected. Like, I'm in blind faith to the casting director's skill. So, like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying, like, that's not who I would see personally, but I'm not a casting director.
Yeah. And it makes me wonder, too, how they do their casting, because I'm sure Pedro Pascal has not had to audition for anything in a long time, but it seems like Pedro's white. He's not like all white, at least, right? Is he like
Pascal? I don't know what race.
Is he doing a Carlos Mencia?
Yeah, I don't know.
As some people say, they like Pedro more for Doom. Could you see that?
He doesn't have the arrogance for either, to me. Like, both are. Like, the point of their rivalry is pomposity. They're both such, like, I'm the smartest. And, like,
Sure.
Neither of them, to me, Pedro Pascal, he seems like a guy I want to have a beer with. Like, Pedro Pascal's like, I'd want to run into Pedro Pascal. I wouldn't
Sure.
want to run into Doom ever, and I wouldn't want to be stuck in a room with Reed. Like, that's what's funny is, like, I've had a few interactions with Joseph Gordon-Levitt that are all very positive.
Jiggle.
He's not someone I would want that I'm saying I wouldn't want to be stuck in a room with, but he can play that. Like,
Yeah.
he's got he can play that equalizer level where he can bring that out of him. But I've yet to see a performance, and I'm not saying he's not capable. I just haven't seen a performance where I'm like, I don't want to be around that guy.
All right.
You know what I mean?
I absolutely know what you mean. He is a very appealing performer, even
Which is
when
why he's in
he's
everything.
gruff. That's why he makes such a good reluctant daddy, because you want to be with him. You want his approval, even when he is being gruff. But that, to me, is a fun prospect, because I'm excited to see him unlock that side of his repertoire as an actor. And it makes me curious. Quick shouts out to Bucky Barnes in the chat just for moderating, holding it down. Really appreciate you. It makes me curious how they go about this, because I feel like, Marvel is at current moment, at the pinnacle of, the current film landscape. So even people who don't audition, I imagine, would have to test and read
At least a
something,
chemistry read.
do something like that. So part of me is like, maybe, Sarah Haley Finn and whoever else have seen him do some kind of read that they like, or something like that. But yeah, put it to you guys. Are you looking forward to Daddy P as Reed? It's the best rhyme I could do in a short amount of time. And then, somebody asked in the chat, the Kang dispersal has not been like 100% confirmed by Marvel, but it certainly appears that
Dynasty movie falling apart does not bode well.
Yeah, so either those people are just tired of, I guess, with all this being hung up in Jonathan Major's legal troubles, maybe they're just tired of being at a standstill, I'm sure, on those particular projects, and they want to go work on something that's actually going to move. But at the same time, it does seem like a significant possibility.
More and more it seems significant, and we don't know anything more than you guys do. But,
Absolutely.
that's what we've heard.
Unless you do. Scoopers in the chat. Sound off. Paul Dixon thinks he will be fantastic, which I think is a good bit of optimism. Hey, someone wants to know what Doom's powers are really quick. Keep it simple for the idiots like me.
He is the most intelligent man in his mind on the planet, but he's got that intelligence in a mix of science and magic. His mom was basically a witch, and he learned through his lineage and also through years and years of study the combination of magic and science, and he can make most anything. He's a dictator ruler of Latveria that rules with an iron fist. He has technological savvy, the likes of which, he can make Doom bots not quite on caliber with Iron Man, but pretty damn close. So imagine someone that is so smart they are both Iron Man and Doctor Strange, but they have the arrogance to think they're the best thing on the planet and aren't worried about the cost of life. So it's the arrogance of Iron Man without any sort of reluctance, and the power of Doctor Strange without any sort of worrying about the cost. So it's a fearful power and an absolute belief in self. Imagine if Kanye West decided to learn a violent skill and he believed in himself as much as Kanye West does. It'd be pretty dangerous.
Kanye should play.
That's confirmed.
Dr. Doom, yep.
You heard it here first. But that kind of blind arrogance, where you're nothing, the reality of the world doesn't matter. My reality is what matters. New math.
And it's new math. Johnny Shears, it has not been confirmed that he is cast as Mr. Fantastic, though it has been heavily rumored, and that rumor has been adopted and propagated and spread by various, I guess, more reputable outlets. And so at least right now it seems like perhaps a little bit more than a rumor and maybe even a likelihood, basically. Also, Notorious Sloth just brought up, and I just saw this earlier, Stephen Yeun for Sentry. Can you give us a brief 30 to 45 seconds on who Sentry is and if you like Stephen Yeun?
Imagine if Superman was the stereotypical, not the actual diagnosed version. I'm not a doctor, but the stereotypical movie
I didn't find
version.
out I had Superman until
Guys,
I was in my teens.
I'm not a PhD, but imagine if you were in the movie sense, schizophrenic or bipolar or any of those mental health issues.
The cool
that
version.
The
That's
edgy
a superpower.
That you're man, I don't have any guilt because I'm over here as this lady.
Kanye's Doom. No one man should have all that.
Yeah.
Power.
Actually, you know what? What's a king to a god? What's a god to a non-believer is kind of Doom's whole MO. So that song, Watch the Throne, is Dr. Doom. If you want to know who Dr. Doom is, play Watch the Throne. But basically, he's a mix of dark and light. His Superman side is Sentry. His dark side is all-powerful, all-consuming darkness, but he can't control it, and he's mentally unwell. And Stephen Yeun, I don't know a lot of his work. I never watched The Walking Dead. I love him as Invincible, but that doesn't really help with my knowledge of his Sentry. I didn't get in. I don't like zombie stuff. I'm sorry. I like Zombie Land.
Wow, Coy. I do too.
And I like Shaun of the
very
Dead.
Fun
I like
couple
zombie
of movies.
comedies.
Sure.
But that isn't going to help me with Walking Dead. Yeah, sorry. It's just my buddy Ross is on it.
Do you like Marvel zombies, Coy?
But so Stephen Yeun, I have no reason to think he won't be great, but that's all I know.
Groovy. Me too. Guys, we're going to hop into the Super Chats and Streamlabs in a moment. You guys have been so patient, and we've already got a bunch of contributions, so we really got to get this road on the show. Real quick, last little bit of new stuff. Guys, in the chat, let's pit these against each other. Let's make more competition where there doesn't need to be any. What if Season 2 trailer? Madam Web trailer. Which one'd you like more? Which one you looking more forward to? Coy, what did you prefer?
I mean, I enjoyed What If Season 1, but I haven't rewatched it. I was pretty casual about it. I wish it had impacted anything ever like it was supposed to. But it was fun. I love the 2000s movies, man. That's when I really started watching movies with a different eye. So if anything's gonna mirror Final Destination, if anything's gonna mirror the 2000s when I was going to Blockbuster daily, I'm a lean Madam Web. It's characters I never thought I'd see on screen. I never thought I'd see Maddie on screen.
were there in the Amazon with my mom when she was researching spiders.
That's where they were, and now that they're out in the world in American cinemas.
I love, sorry to interrupt you.
No, on your core zone, though, man.
I so adore that in no time flat, that has become a meme. I've seen so many uses and repurposings of that quote in the last 24 hours.
In very fun ways.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, I'm so stoked for Madam Web, man. I'm like so in. I love the 2000s. I'm stoked. Oh, dramatic pause.
That was for you.
Oh,
Coy.
was it for me? Okay.
Yeah.
Was that? I was like, for once, I was able to let John talk for a second.
There to be a moment of credence for the spunk and the fact that this is
I love
the hill you're gonna die on.
I am, man. You'll see me rallying for these Sony movies oft.
Yes, and I'm with you. We were getting some love for What If in the chat. I hate zombie movies. Make a good Blade movie, says Chaos 999.
I think they are.
Are you? Chaos 999, that's not a name I hear read off at the end of YMS videos all the time, is it? If not, thanks for also being here. Final thing, I think, before we hop in. I watched the What If Season 2 trailer. It looked like fun to me. It looked like What If, whereas Madam Web at least has that, like, kookiness that.
There's going to be way more curveballs. I mean, What If is meant to be curveball-y, but I still feel like there's going to be way more insanity in Madam Web, and I think that's what's calling it to me. It feels so different. Like, I think I said it on Capes and Cowls. I need variety in my pizza, just like I need variety in my potatoes. And sometimes I want to go to Pizza Hut and have a nice filling, crusty pizza,
100%.
and that's going to be fun. Sometimes I want like a nice gourmet pizza.
Yes.
That's going to be my Logan. That's going to be my end game. Sometimes I want something comfy at home while I watch something, and that's DiGiorno, and that's my Madam Web. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno, and I'm very happy when I'm in that mood. I don't want always Pizza Hut. I don't want always, fancy Prince Street. Sometimes I want DiGiorno, and I'm glad they're giving me that uniqueness.
It's not pizza. It's the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters.
And I'm excited for them.
Okay, we're going to do a quick rapid fire right here before we hop into the chat, just real quick. The rest of the Fantastic Four casting. What do you think? Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm.
I think it's great. She's very, very captivating on screen, and she speaks with such like eloquence, and she'd have to, because in a lot of ways she's smarter than Reed in the street sense. Like she can keep up with Reed with just the highbrow intellectual, but she's smarter about like dealing with the world. She has more street smarts, and she's smart enough to keep up with the smartest man on the earth. Yeah. So like I think you need to be able to speak with an incredible like eloquence and seem like you can understand quantum physics casually and also like navigate it for her. She's kind of our eye line. So I think Vanessa Kirby's fantastic, and she's such a boss when she shows up on screen.
All right. Eben Moss Bacharach as
the best
Thing.
casting.
Yes.
Like that is I've been saying Holt McCallumley for years.
Sure,
he's
great
like
choice.
my thing, and he's the first name.
He's in my James Remar Fantastic
right
Four.
There. Yeah, and that Fantastic Four from the 80s.
Susan Sarandon, Sue Storm.
Oh,
and then,
right?
And then, just got to get Johnny Storm in there now.
Who's a perfect 80s Johnny Storm? That should be the easiest one. The 80s was
I know,
ripe with Johnny.
right?
It's
I
almost
know.
too many. It's an abundance of
Yeah.
riches.
Yeah.
80s Kevin Bacon.
Ooh.
But like I think the abundance of riches of the 80s Johnny Storm. But I think he's the best casting. I think he's got a lot of soft, beautiful sincerity in his eyes, but he comes across brusque. I think the Thing needs to have that like baby blues, but also have that like emotional weight while being a bit standoffish in a very like street brutality kind of way. He's a scrappy guy. He says it's clobbering time. Like I think he's perfect, and he's so good in The Bear. That's my favorite of the casting, if it's true.
Terrific, yeah. And I am because he just becomes Thing once he becomes Thing, he's just that form, right?
Yeah.
So like I am intrigued to see, and I hope that his chops really shine through all
Christian
that.
Slater's fun.
And Christian Slater would be a great Johnny Storm. I imagine they'll do a performance capture with that, and so I hope that all of his greatness can shine through that. And then finally, Joseph Eddie Munson from Stranger Things Season 4 Quinn as Jonathan Storm.
He would not have been my first 10 picks, but like it's just there's so many people that read Johnny Storm to me. But he does have a movie star quality that's undeniable because Stranger Things has been going 3 years. All of a sudden, this guy comes out of nowhere, and that's all anybody's talking about. That's Johnny Storm. Yeah. It's not Johnny Storm in the linear sense of like this is what I picture at all. If I'd seen him abstractly, but now that I've seen his performance and I see his impact, I totally see it. It's just funny that he wouldn't have been in my top 10 until Stranger Things. Like I wouldn't have known that type of guy would work. But I'm excited.
It's okay. It's okay.
Someone asking if I've seen Kingdom. I adore Kingdom. Yeah, I wouldn't have a Navy Street shirt without Kingdom. But yeah, I love the show Kingdom MMA. Jonathan Tucker is one of my favorite actors.
Jonathan Tucker
I think he's one of the most slept on. He should be a household name.
Underrated.
Like the fact that Jonathan Tucker isn't everywhere is it's proof that the system doesn't work.
Absolutely, the truth. All right, we're going to jump real quick into the super chats, but of course, I need to verify one more thing that I cannot see right now. So give me a hot secundo. Coy, stall for me, Coy.
Yeah, okay.
Stall for
Tom
me.
Holland and Mark Wahlberg is the entire Fantastic Four. Into it. My boys John and Coy. Where's Gregory? Gregory's in a fucking ton of meetings today.
Yes, Greg is keeping the life's blood of this channel coordinated in ways that, we are incapable.
Yeah, there's accounting and there's slideshows and there's PowerPoints.
Oh, yeah. The most power.
Sony builds
the
up
most
6
points.
villains and have Sinister Six versus Miles Morales. Totally an option. I do think by the end of Secret Wars we will have a Spider-Man in Sony, and I think Miles Morales is a likelihood. I always thought Glenn Powell would be a good Hal or even Kyle Rayner, but he could be a great choice for Johnny Storm. Glenn Powell, man, he is Hal Jordan. Like, it's insane how much he's Hal Jordan. He's a fighter pilot.
Powell Jordan.
Oh, he is. He's got the Powell of Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love him over there.
I love him anywhere.
Coy Wise Uncle Ben in Madam Web. Not confirmed, but I think we will have a Ben over there. We'll see. We'll see. I do think they're protecting Peter Parker. I don't know if it's going to be in a parental way, an uncle way, but I think that he is a fantastic.
Peter Parker.
I mean, it's going to be a fun little
They're hiding
lone wolf
him.
and cub.
Oh my God! How do you guys do this?
It's a lot.
How do you guys tell the date?
Oh yeah, is it somewhere? Oh, look at the photo on the right.
There we go.
Boom, there it is.
Oh, perfect. Coy.
Image.
Coy.
Color
That's
image.
why you're on all these all the time.
Got you.
All right, guys.
Right there.
Give a round of applause in the chat for Coy. Leave some hand emojis or whatever, because we're jumping into some super chats. Thank you guys for being so generous. Again, this really does help these streams to be proliferated across the internet in ways that they can't just on their own. So you guys are the knees of bees, and that's an anatomically cool thing to be. So yeah, anyhow, we're gonna just adjust our little screen here, and Noah Duncan first and foremost. I would do the air horn, but a month or two ago, our soundboard melted down and it erased all the fun sound effects. So we don't have any fun sound effects.
No
today,
fun
Coy.
for us.
Yeah, no fun till Brooklyn. Noah Duncan, thank you so much for contributing to the chat. One of two, my pitch. Here we go, Coy.
Ready.
You are a producer.
'Kay.
Get ready for the green or the red light. Tease in Ironheart that the villain is an apprentice with a master, later revealed to be Doom. Make a Young Avengers movie where they, two of two, fight Doom. They go to Latveria to take him down. He wins, and they barely escape. Makes us wonder if the Avengers could have won. And then we go to Secret Wars.
Love it.
Love it. And it gives us like a somber, like, oh, no, we lost kind of ending again, a la Infinity War.
Love it. Appreciate it. I do think they're steering away from TV setting up movies, though. That's the only reason that might not happen. If you'll notice, a lot of the Marvel spotlights, they do seem to be shifting away from that connectivity being mandatory. I think they could say, that the Red Hood has an apprentice. I don't think they'd show him first in the show, though. That's why I like your addendum, making a Young Avengers movie. I think that is absolutely a great way. But the trickiness there is we haven't had each Young Avenger in their own show enough to really connect us to them. I don't know if we could really have them jump into a movie
love
yet.
Isaiah Bradley Jr.
For the
or
couple
whatever
scenes
his
we've
name
seen
is.
him. Yeah, so I think I think Young Avengers is going to be a show. And again, that does cause a problem for introducing someone as powerful as Doom. The storyline you've pitched here is fantastic. I just think the logistics of where the optics are on the Disney Plus shows is the only thing keeping that at bay, is just optics. Because Loki is one of the best things Marvel's ever done. But for some reason, people are like, Marvel's dead, whether or not they look at the goodness of what a lot of Phase 4 and 5 things have brought us. They just like to, just say universally.
It's all bad,
It's all
Coy.
bad.
It all sucks. Jake, I just, I've been, I feel like, more lenient towards this phase than most people.
You have? It's true.
But it is interesting. It has this is sort of a stray topic, so I'll keep it short, but it has illuminated to me I think the greater thing Marvel is in the position of having to do now, where they defined what the broad-spanning cinematic universe is for our time in an unprecedented fashion. and they did it in this kind of perfected, not without its bumps, but in a 3-act kind of way. And now I feel like the onus is to find out how do we innovate beyond that? Because I think there is something maybe a little less climactic than just like, oh yeah, we have another 3-act set of phases and they're just bigger, So I feel like they are kind of in the position of having to define now, like, how do you make this shared endeavor still feel like a fresh thing and not just like some franchise now?
Yeah, and I think that's the trickiness. But I love this idea, man. Solid idea.
Absolutely. Actually, yeah, like I seeing it and having it be this kind of like, I can already imagine the emotional flavors going into that of like the Young Avengers, using. I almost thought of one of those DC animated like Justice League versus the Teen Titans or something like that.
Oh, so good.
Which has like a pretty big magical threat. That obviously they are victorious.
And I do think Ironheart is going to help set up that magic and science. I mean, especially with Red Hood and everything else. I do think that's the gateway to Doom. I just don't know how much weight they're going to put on Ironheart because of how people are perceiving the show.
All the weight, Coy.
All the weight.
All the weight. Hey, I mean, I hope maybe my secret hope is that Echo is like super good.
Same.
Because it looks pretty good. And maybe I feel like, I don't know, Ironheart has been kind of the one that's been waffling in terms of like people. Like, she had the intro in Wakanda Forever, but I feel like a lot of people are like, CG on that. Like, I think there are other things that distracted from her impact in that movie.
Trailer D23 was great.
Oh, hey.
It was really, really good. Like, I was shocked by how much, like, they got a really cool sensibility, and it felt very Bendis. So I'm hopeful after the trailer.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll see.
I'm hoping that show comes in and makes a splash, and I am curious now to see how also Marvel, adjusts what the shows are, what their function is.
Also feels crazy to have seen footage from a show that's still not out.
Yeah.
Like a year and a half ago.
Hey,
we
just got
Kat.
this Dream Boy. Thank you so much. Steven Yeun's Sentry is gonna be amazing. Okay, real quick, just describe to me once again the core tenets of Sentry's character.
Superman with like a bipolar disorder where one side's evil, one side's good.
Okay.
Jekyll and Hyde Superman.
I am very excited.
Blightness.
I am very excited to see Steven Yeun play that because on The Walking Dead, Glenn is such an eye line, at least especially at the beginning. He is a very, good-natured character. And then in other things I've seen Steven Yeun in, and I haven't seen Beef. I would like to see Beef. There was all that controversy surrounding Beef, so I didn't watch it at the time. But I get the sense that is a more sort of like gruff, more of an asshole kind of character. And so yeah, I think he's got range, and I'm definitely excited to just see him enter, and I hope my main hope is that it's a character that is significant and important so that we don't get another one of those situations where we're like, damn, they wasted their this guy card on one-off, or something like that, or on side character we don't really spend much time caring about. But yeah, I'm glad you're excited, Dream Boy, and I'm rooting for Steven Yeun because I think he's been terrific in everything I have seen him in. Sean Payton, thank you for joining us in the super chats, my friend. Keeping the streams alive. The boys are back in town. The Coys are back in town. Coy and Sean, love you guys. I am genuinely worried about Marvel right now, and I'm in the camp where I want Kang to stay, and they need to save Doom for Fantastic Four and the next saga. That's fair. I mean, it is a precarious situation, and I think this is kind of an interesting moment to at least touch on the idea that, you could just... I don't know. Could you recast Kang? Is there any version of this?
We're kind of in the next saga, though. Secret Wars is like we're building to Secret Wars now.
Are we in Phase 5 right
now? Yeah.
Okay.
So you know what I mean? Like we're
the line between Phases 4 and 5.
They just wrote a line later.
Me.
They were like, that seems like a thing. Well, Ant-Man was the beginning of Phase 5, which was a silly choice.
Jamie Lannister as Dr. Doom. That never happened, right? Nikolai Coster-Waldau. I've just seen artist mock-ups.
Yeah,
of
no,
that,
it's
right?
just an idea. But like I'm not worried because of all the pivoting they're doing. I mean, you guys were plenty vocal about my thoughts on the Marvels. But I do think
what
that...
What do you mean? Let's revisit that,
I'm still tired. But I do think that it is learning from its mistakes. I do think that it is... I mean, it's had a big overhaul in the creative side. It's had a big overhaul in the suit side. I do think that the 6 months of Cap 4 reshoots are a good thing. So I'm not worried yet. I think Deadpool 3 is going to be amazing. I'm not worried at all about Deadpool 3. And everything coming out after it, like, there's a few things I'm like, I wouldn't have done that. But I'm not worried... But I do think it's easy to look at the negative. It's louder. So I think it's very, easy to get clicks by saying, like, the sky is falling. I think it's very easy to go, like, this is... But, like, Guardians just made $800 million. Spider-Man was 2 years ago. Not even. Like a year and a half ago. If another studio had $1 billion hit a year and a half ago, not a single person would be saying it's failing. $1 billion and then another movie that made $800 million. Yes, it's not making $1 billion a movie, but if any franchise had a $1 billion hit followed by an $800 million hit, no one would be saying shit.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's fair. That's fair. It is strange. Like,
it's exhausting.
It is an interesting time because it does seem like they aren't on as assured footing. But the whole like the thing has been burning down. I'm like I think that was your. Maybe was your tweet where it's like literally like a tandem of like, this one is dead. This one, it's back. This one's dead. It's back.
It's killing me. It's like any artist that changes their sound for the second album. Like, you got to get comfortable. And like, And my only concern is Marvel knee-jerk reacting and then not being as bold in the future.
Okay, yeah, and I mean, they are certainly adjusters, but I trust Marvel to at least adjust with some level of poise. They seem to want to take their time, as opposed to maybe Warner Brothers, who seems apt to just be like, just change it,
shelve it, put it in the vault,
change it. What did Marvel do? Change it,
dude. That Acme movie, I am literally gonna whoever buys it. I have AMC A-List, and whenever I go to a press screening, I always buy the movie ticket in A-List so I can support the movie still. That movie, anytime I have any extra rollover, like if I've only seen one movie that week, I'm getting 2 tickets to Acme. Like, I'm gonna support the fuck out of the movie.
Hells yeah.
Because fuck what they did to those poor creators. So I'm gonna make sure that movie makes as much money as I can personally help it make.
Somebody used the metaphor of it's kind of like burning your house down for the insurance money, and I am like, it is kind of exactly
literally that.
Like, we lost all this money on this movie because we couldn't put it out, even though we have all the
house
means
on fire.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah, it's we got to change that law.
Yeah, because my boy Zaslav, he's got we love him.
Davey
He's gonna play Doctor Doom.
He is right now a dictator in a country trying to make things his way. Yeah, no, he's doing a good job.
Quote Blink got some love for Koi's comic corner in the chat.
Now
you
that
never
the strike's over, we got ideas. We got things cooking. Also, that's a great question. We got some ideas. We'll probably be dropping another episode very soon. That was actually shot before the strike.
Looking forward to
it. It's a good one.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, we'll see. I certainly wish we lived on a timeline where there was no Jonathan Majors controversy and that we could just enjoy this Kang stuff. But I don't know. I'll wait and see. It's one of those things where I'm like, this could be precarious, but I still have enough faith in Marvel to like think this through. And I do think that a benefit of their extreme wealth, or at least Kevin Feige's extreme, predilection for thinking way down the line, thinking ahead, is helpful for stuff like this. So, we'll see. Hopefully, it'll be good. Frank C. 2002, thank you for being here and contributing to the chat. Did you see the new pic of Corin Sweat? He is swole. I haven't. Have you?
Yeah, I have. He was Corin sweating in the gym. No, he looks huge. I'm stoked for him. Like any time.
I'm Googling David Corin Sweat buff.
Anytime an actor gets told they're not big enough and then immediately puts in the work for 3 months, I'm like, goddamn right. Maybe try today's date.
Okay, buff.
That's a picture of Henry Cavill and a picture of other Supermen.
All right, buff. November 17th.
There he is, 4 hours ago. There it is.
This one.
Look at that gray sweats, boy.
Look at my man right here. Yeah.
He's getting it.
You can see those arms through the shirt.
Yep.
That's good.
That's good. He's getting them gains. I respect it.
Absolutely, man. David Gainvid Corin Sweat.
I mean, the thing is, like, it really is so much aggressive nutrition and training that you can gain so much mass in 3 months with the right team. And I know people are going to be like, steroids. I don't know if he's on steroids or not. I just know it is possible. So
not illegal.
I'm not guaranteeing
if it's in the movies. Kumail did it.
That's true. Ask anybody.
Kumail
as
did
long
it.
as you're getting filmed, it's legal.
That's right.
But, like, you can also, like, I've never taken a steroid a day in my life, and I stay pretty big. I don't have the money for steroids.
That's all I do, and I've gained nothing.
Yeah,
I should maybe try diet and exercise.
Maybe it's a different angle. Everybody's got to mix it up.
We do what we can. Sam Spring doing what he can to keep this chat alive. Love you and appreciate you. You got a very affable, a lot of you guys. You guys got
pleasant. Good
faces. Faces on these.
All the ones today so far. Just pleasant vibes.
Peeps. Wholesome in the chat. Koi, you are quickly becoming one of my favorite people to hear talk about Marvel.
Hey.
I'm manifesting peaceful
Aw.
and positive chat today.
What a positive vibe for the positive face. We're
It's
just
working.
It's happening quick.
It's working.
Look at this. I appreciate
not
you very much.
too
Positivity.
Shabby.
I woke up last Saturday like giddy. I was in such a good mood. I literally tweeted how happy I was. You know how often I go what a glorious. I was Joseph Gordon-Levitt in 500 Days of Summer before the breakup, where he's just like singing to fucking animated animals.
You were day in the life, but only the second part where the Paul McCartney bit comes in. Just woke up, got out of bed, ran a comb across my head, and just like birds
then
brought
I
you
came
coffee.
here,
Disney birds, yeah.
And I exposed myself to the vitriol, and today is the opposite. I came in here very neutral, and you guys have been great, so you're actually uplifting. You're putting us in a positive trajectory, so I appreciate
There
you.
are no women in the news to bring things down, Coy. There are no women except for Madam Web, which is the greatest trailer
of all time.
Yeah, I found it when I was in the
women.
Amazon researching spiders with my mom.
Right after your mom. His mom also not a woman, because that would be too woke to involve a woman mother.
Yes.
All these people that think women shouldn't be in properties are born to only 2 men.
Nah, James Remar is going to be Captain Madam
James
Webb's
Remar.
mom.
Into that.
Yeah.
All these people are like the story of Wonder Woman originally, where it's like Hercules made me out of clay.
Yes.
I don't know any women.
I want that version where
I think they're going to do that for James Gunn's.
Get this though. I want it. Hercules made me out of clay.
Okay.
And the whole
Sorry,
time,
I meant to say Zeus, but Hercules came out.
It was Zeus.
You know what I'm saying?
It's fine.
Yeah.
You're not the Greek mythology expert.
I'm not. Don't ask
Coy.
about
You're
that stuff.
Although those guys
They tie
exist in Marvel,
They
so
do.
you are
I
an
gotta work.
idiot.
God
You
damn it.
are
This is on
an
me.
idiot and a shill
I deserve
and
it.
a fake fan.
That's true.
What were we talking
I don't
about?
know. I got lost being shill. I forgot who I was supposed to shill to.
Yes. Well, anyway, there was a good joke in there somewhere.
That was somewhere.
Maybe
we were
it'll
getting there.
come back
and
to us.
It'll rhyme when you cycle back to it.
Yes. Well, thank you for manifesting a delightful chat today. It is certainly working. Oh, God, it's going to kill me.
Yeah.
It's
what
gonna
the joke was
kill
going to be,
me.
where you were going with it.
Yeah, we had Madam Webb's mom and
And
women
Zeus
and
building
Zeus. Oh,
clay.
that's what I
There
want.
it
Yeah,
is.
okay, here we go. Zeus builds Diana out of clay. And then the rest of the movie, every character is an actor except Diana, who is a Ray Harryhausen style claymation effect.
Old school.
Yes.
Into that.
Yes. Still voiced by Gal
Not
Gadot.
as much of a joke as it is a pitch, and I'm into it.
Honestly,
Greenlit.
it would be strange, and the only way you could do it nowadays is like as a short.
And I
but
think it's hilarious.
I think it would, in some ways, it could be like an actually endearing thing, and those are the kinds of contributions I bring to the superhero genre.
I support this creativity.
Thank you, Coy. I support you being alive.
That's good. I need to be.
I'm going to do my best. Jahasiel Para.
Cool name.
Or is it like, or do you have to swallow that and just make it like Jasiel? Like what happens?
Jasiel.
Like what happens? Like in your neck of the country,
Boston,
where you just
kid?
friggin' swallow
We just
entire
make
halves
up-
of words. Worcester, nope,
Worcester.
it's Worcester.
It's Worcester, kid.
Somehow all those letters just blur together.
Peabody, Worcester, Woburn, Somerville.
Jahasiel Para, name. Thank you for being here. Thank you for putting up with us, and let us know if you're in the chat. If we got your name right, because we want to make everybody feel represented properly. Name an MCU movie that you would have taken in a completely different direction, and why. And how would your new version affect current day continuity? This is a great question, and I am going to have to think on that. Jeepers Christo.
I mean, I'd have Quantumania involve time. You got a time conqueror, and you got a man who's missing time with his daughter because of the blip, a daughter that's growing up rapidly, and there's nothing scarier to a parent than losing time with their kid. And you have a villain involving time, and you don't use time. He doesn't use time when he comes out of the quantum realm. It doesn't talk about missing time that he'd missed, like maybe time dispersal, like an Interstellar, different when you're in there. Time Conqueror doesn't use time as a weapon in the prison. He instead uses like weird telekinesis to hold her up against the wall. And they wrote a line of dialogue where it's like, time doesn't work in the Quantumania. They literally negated Ant-Man's powers by making there nothing to scale. So when Cassie grows giant, everything's tiny. So she's literally just tiny. So why would she need orange slices? Because she's tiny, now a little less tiny, making her giant in a quantum realm. And then they negate Kang's powers by putting it in a place where time is relative and different. So it is a movie that negates everyone's powers, and then Kang fights technologically advanced millions of civilizations, evolution ants. I would change a lot about that movie. Just off the top of my head, that'd be one I would change.
Okay. I would change. I would change Infinity War and Endgame. I would make them one movie. I would cut it down to like 2 hours, and that will affect pretty much everything
All
coming
right.
out. I think that would probably end the MCU right
I
there.
think you just burned it down.
Yeah.
I think you just got that insurance money.
That's what I'm here
I think
to
you
do.
just Acme movie to that whole story.
I don't know if I would have taken it.
Hasiel.
Hasiel.
That's a
There we
cool
go.
name.
Hasiel.
Hasiel.
There you go. Awesome.
Just
Beautiful.
wanted to call him. I didn't mean to interrupt your
No,
pitch.
that's good.
It was
I
flying
appreciate
by.
you doing that. I might have. It's weird because there's so many of the movies that I would take in a slightly different direction, but the core nuts and bolts. Like I'm trying to think of one where like the entire premise I would have just changed outright. Like Multiverse of Madness comes to mind only in that I like the flavors of what that movie did, but the story within it, it's that movie that feels like you're in a multiverse. I've used this metaphor before. It's like Everything Everywhere All at Once feels like the definitive movie about this multiversal story, whereas Multiverse of Madness feels like, a version of what this could be, but it doesn't feel like the version of what this could be. So I would have just taken that movie and like retooled it, kept the Sam Raimi-ness, kept the, horrific and kind of slapstick quality. But I don't know. I almost would have made it sort of like skip right to Incursions, get Clea in there, and let's do that thing.
I would have made it a what if.
Or sure, make it a what if or something like that.
Because then the what if show becomes more impactful, and then you have Sam Raimi getting more freedom. I feel like Sam Raimi got kind of handcuffed in the edit. He got to make obviously the movie he wanted. That's very much a Sam Raimi movie. But I would have let him have even more fun and called it a what if.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think yes, in some way or another, I would have retooled that movie because
I also would have cast variants, and Bruce Campbell would have been a Doctor Strange variant. Imagine the end, how much funnier that joke is if he's a Doctor Strange variant.
Yes. Oh my God, Coy.
Little tweaks, guys.
Oh my God, Coy.
Kevin Feige, you have my number.
Get into
Let
the
me help.
Marvel, Coy.
Let me help.
Holy crap,
And I could write a dissertation on what to do with the Marvels.
And then I would just squeeze in a whole other movie about Wanda.
Yes.
So that when we eventually get the Scarlet Witch turn, then it makes a bit
You could
more
rush to it
sense.
through that, and then you do the long game with ours. Yeah.
So that's what we would do, Hasiel.
Smiv, I notice you.
Hey.
I don't know. There's a blue check, or there's
like
a check
your-
next to his name, and he got a hat on.
And on your left, we got, I like both of these avatars here. You guys are killing the game. Hasiel, thank you so much. Raccoon Shampoo. With all the additions, thank you, by the way, for being here. With all the additions to the Superman Legacy cast, how big of a role do you think the extra superheroes like Hawk Girl and Metamorpho will play?
I don't think they'll be huge parts. I think it's setting up a universe. I think there's going to be a world where we're meeting a Clark Kent that is establishing himself as a Superman, and he's going to be dealing with his family at the Daily Planet, his family back on the farm, and his family of heroes. I think it's going to be, if you look at what James Gunn does, he's so good at making movies about people that feel like outsiders finding their family.
Yeah.
I think Superman is going to be the ultimate story of an eye line for us as people to understand Superman by way of him feeling like an outsider finding his family. I think all of these cast members are being cast as a large Justice League family that's going to further populate the DCU, but I don't think they're going to have a lot of screen time. I think there's going to be an amazing moment or two with them, but I don't think they're going to be like, it's not going to be a 4-hour movie, and I don't think they're going to be, as an individual important, but I think the family and moments with them is going to be big. I think if anyone's going to have a big role from the plot that I have in my head, it'll be Mr. Terrific.
I would love that. From our exposures in the animated
what I
stuff.
think it's going to be, yeah.
That's a character I'm definitely excited to see, and I will be curious to see how James Gunn's universe handles. It certainly seems like Superman will be entering a universe that already has plenty of metahumans and other things like that. So
Galley Ghost!
hey, buddy, how you doing? We'll get to you.
There. We'll get there.
We're powering through.
Also, Sam Thomas. I've been wanting Lakeith as Brother Voodoo ever since I saw the first 5. I saw the whole movie, but within 5 minutes of Haunted Mansion, I was like, Brother Voodoo, like he's
Coy.
so good.
15 seconds, Brother Voodoo.
Brother Voodoo is another magic wielder a la Doctor Strange, but with a lot more cultural history tied to like New Orleans and the afterlife and things that are in that world. And Brother Voodoo is in some ways more powerful than Doctor Strange, and he's a little bit more interesting of a character. And I think that the Lakeith being
Woke Coy.
Yeah, I know. Saying
White
someone
people are the most interesting.
every
I
time.
relate to all of them.
and only them.
And I can't even understand what characters are saying when they're not white.
That's true.
Or a guy.
Ask Guy Ritchie. Those white people speak so clearly.
Yup.
I love that when I watch a Guy Ritchie movie, I'm like the only one. I'm like translating to my friends what they're saying because I can't stand watching shit with subtitles. It drives me fucking crazy. That said, Brother Voodoo, I think Lakeith Stanfield with a mix between his role in Haunted Mansion and Atlanta, oddly enough,
Darius,
would be
my
so
man.
special.
Absolutely. Quick shout out in the live chat. Zori Severino Jr. Says that the hints that Doctor Doom is coming can be felt even in Loki season 2 science and fiction. I wanted to read this all smooth, like science and fiction, magic and science. That's basically what Doom works with. And I mean
green.
And green, yes. And that's the other thing is, before we move on to the next one, I do feel like the ending of Loki, even though it seems like the show and movie interplay may be whittled down moving forward, it does seem like you could. I'm sorry, Maria Jose. I want to say all the names right, but I just can't understand what you're saying. I gotta get the babble. I gotta get the Duolingo for woman.
Speak woman. Yeah. So do a lot of YouTubers.
J to the K. But yeah, the ending of Loki seems like you could use that as a segue out for Kang, basically. But that's neither here nor there. ATM, Eon Balosh. Thank you for joining us, contributing. I keep trying to say 2 words at once.
And just throwing you off.
And just
the duality of language.
Has Greg thought about me joining the channel? I would love to be a part of the channel. Ian Blush, the contracts are in your inbox. You just got to sign them, send in your blood sample, the Xerox of your social security card, and your birth certificate, your mother's maiden name,
you grew up on.
your bank routing number, and account info. Yep. We just need all that stuff, and then you will be a real reject. That's all it takes. Anyone can join, really, but yes, we will have you. And you'll take over Koi's Comic Corner. So it'll be Ian Blosh's Comic Corner.
It's a cool name.
It's good. It rings, and we're looking forward to having you. And Greg, I know, is counting on you. You're going to be taking on a lot of the responsibilities that he has. So instead of him not being on this live stream, it could be you.
Oh, look, he's here now to hire you.
Oh, hey, he's here. He's ready to bring you in. Fresh haircut
That's
and
all
everything.
it takes. He just pops in. That was the meeting he was in. It was clearing your paperwork.
It was a haircut. Yeah, he was clearing your paperwork, so you're a member of the channel now. And that could be fake. You don't even know if he's actually here.
Yeah, that's true.
It could just be, no, he is.
That's true. I was actually talking about one of his cats.
Sidra Zaidi, how you doing? Thank you for keeping the stream alive today. I missed last week's live, and let me tell you.
It was calm.
You should have been there,
It didn't open with a lot of profanity and rage.
It did not descend
Greg
into
and I didn't
angst
back and forth,
at all.
get angry and switch and keep each other sane. No.
I should have been there for you guys.
As an anchor.
I should have been there for,
you might have also
I
felt
would have
the
been the
rage.
weird, it would have inevitably descended into madness, but I feel like I might have been the intermediary because
It would have been very funny.
Because, I liked the movie more than, it's a mess, but I liked it more, I guess. But either way, that's neither here nor there. Do you think this is the last time we see Loki? And which was your favorite episode? I don't, but I think Tom Hiddleston's comments are, on point. He's like, I think it would be foolish to assume this is the last of Loki. I don't expect to see a lot of him immediately or anything like that, but I think that he's going to be on hand, and I think that it's smart to give him something that does feel like a send-off. They said we wanted these 2 seasons of Loki to function like, the halves of a complete story. I think that is a beautiful choice for the MCU because it allowed them great storytelling that didn't have to be open to editing down the line. But yeah, I just wouldn't expect to see him a ton for the time being.
If we see him, I think it'll be something like Secret Wars and maybe to give that Thor moment. I'd rather not see him again. I love Tom Hiddleston as Thor, but my love for him is why I want him to have an ending. And I feel like that ending is way too beautiful and perfect. Same reason I don't want Downey back.
Yeah, and I mean, the difference to me
is...
It's
easier to bring him back than Downey, though, make that clear.
Sure, yeah. And I think it's good that they're not being like, he's officially dead. Like, they've moved on. Like, there's something about having, like, Downey and Chris Evans and some of the majors be like, they've moved on, they're done. And it's like, there's the heavy, strong rumors that they're going to at least come back for Secret Wars and stuff like that. And you could forego that conclusion. That seems like something we could easily add up. But there is something about that where it's like announcing that they are done. I think you are maybe in some case is better off doing it more like Tom Hiddleston. Just leave it, kind of let the character rest and let people speculate from there.
Yeah, and that
Don't say
ending
too
was
much.
perfect. And episode 6 of both seasons are two of my favorite hours of Marvel ever.
100%.
Episode 6 is perfect.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I love both seasons, and it's easily my favorite MCU show. And that finale of season 2, especially, was such a lovely moment to me because it was like everything I hoped that this story could be for the MCU. But it also just did stuff that I like about good sci-fi and interesting and emotional sci-fi in general beyond all that. Like, if this was just its own isolated show, I feel like I would still have been just as dazzled and wrapped up in all the circumstances. And yeah, that finale was pretty poetry. So, hells yeah. Raccoon Shampoo back in action. Thank you for being so generous as to come back in twice. I think it might have gone wrong. Take 2. I think it might have gone over my head. But do you think when and where Loki got those
But do you know where Loki got those powers? I got you. Hey, it's proof we're live.
That's right. I did that on purpose. It's like
This
when
is
people
just-
sing different lyrics.
Yeah, you're like, oh wow,
You're
this
just
is
like,
crazy.
Oh, it's not a backing track.
She put
Cool.
Kelsey in this week's song, Taylor's version.
Oh, look out! That's right.
Guys,
That's right. She's
little new
not
boyfriend.
gay. You heard it here.
I mean, she's got like I'm worried for him because he's about to be lyrics in a breakup song. I'm always worried for anyone dating Taylor Swift for the future album.
It's okay.
I hope they live happily ever after.
I just hope that they get input on what the song will. That's my favorite version of the narrative is if she chooses them specifically because it's like we're gonna write this song together and
I
it's
like
gonna be
that.
about how
It's like
you
a
suck.
muse, like a relationship muse.
Yeah, but they have some kind of some autonomous contribution to the song somehow.
I
So
like
it's like
that.
these weird collaborations that then make everybody dogpile Jake Gyllenhaal.
Real Rejects, Taylor's version. We're gonna put a red scarf in the graphic.
It's coming. Get ready for the Eras Tour React video.
The amount of people that like every time I interview Jake are like, "Are you gonna ask about the scarf?" No, I will not. That man is living his life. You let him.
If he ever comes
let him
on,
live
that's a great
scarf-free.
question.
I'm gonna be
It's
like, I'm gonna
an
wear a
hour
red
of
scarf.
But do we know? Back to your question, Raccoon. Sorry. Do you know when and where Loki got those new powers? I thought they fixed his time slipping. So the idea being that the time slipping, they think they fixed it. It comes back. He learns how to harness it, or at least they make it like latent, and then.
My
he sort of-
interpretation.
Yeah, sure.
As
Go.
soon as we stabbed Kang, or He Who Remains, it caused the time slipping because he was at the end of time and he didn't willingly come back to where he was. And I think that Kang, He Who Remains, did that on purpose in order for Loki to get the ability by learning it. He set him on the path to learn that skill. He wouldn't have learned the skill if he didn't time slip.
Sure. And that's something that I do want to go back and rewatch the season.
I want to
and
watch
kind
1
of-
and 2 back to back too.
Yeah.
Because it is one
yeah.
Ouroboros.
And it is.
Ah.
It is.
And I could be wrong. One of the things I love watching the show for you guys. But one of the things I do struggle with is, when we're watching it and we're commentating because we have to, because otherwise it's watching us stare blankly ahead. Sometimes I miss little moments where I'm like, oh, I'm assessing something and I'm putting theories together based off most of what I've gathered. But you can't, like, I'm getting like 80% of the show when we're watching it with lights in our faces. So I'm sure I missed something, and I'm hoping that's not what I missed.
There's a real difference, between
Watching it.
live first-time commentary versus commentary on something that you're already familiar
Exactly.
with. Yeah. Seattle Chaos' Tempad and the Time Loom gave him the powers, so that's a possible explanation there. At Joan Love says Billy Porter for Reed Richards.
For the big
I'm
hat guy?
with it. Yes, Billy Porter, always with the beautiful dresses, too.
Oh, yeah.
Well, from Pose, is it the show? It's the show about drag queens, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, Billy Porter.
Pictured a beautiful hat, but also maybe beautiful dresses.
All the above, Billy Porter. Billy Porter got the drips for days, got poise.
Oh, yeah.
I want Billy Porter, Reed Richards, and I want Billy Porter to supply his or their own wardrobe. That's
Billy
my
Porter
wish.
for Dazzler.
Ooh.
Taylor Swift can be in another version.
5
Taylor's
seconds on
version.
Dazzler.
5 seconds on Dazzler. Imagine if Jubilee's powers also involve turning stuff into music into telekinetic light and impact. Music as a through line.
I'm here for it.
And she's a pop star. So if the biggest pop star of the world was also a mutant with awesome powers.
More music battles in the MCU. That's one thing I wouldn't change about Multiverse of Madness. Is that they had that music fight and that was pretty cool.
That's true. I love that moment.
Yes. Yeah. And so anyhow,
I do like Matt Smith as Reed Richards as well. I've seen that a couple times today. I would have loved that.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, there have been good choices. Matt Smith would have been really cool. Adam Driver, I think, was a solid pick. Been watching a lot of people do Adam Driver impressions on the internet, which are funny. I didn't think at first. I was like, "What would that even be?"
He's got
and
a very
now I'm like,
specific
"Oh,
cadence
I know exactly
Yep.
what it is." Somebody did him ordering a pizza, and I can't do it, but it was just sort of something like, "I want a medium pizza, extra sauce." So is his intonation. It was good. Ferretland 98. We're gonna take this one, and then we're going to see what we got over in the Streamlabs real quick. Ferretland 98. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. John knows who said this, right? I got you. Do you?
I actually don't.
That's, I don't know how I would ever draw. Oh, there are two superheroes in the show.
Actors or actual superheroes?
They're actual superheroes, Coy.
Okay.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
Oh, why do I know that?
You will kick yourself when
As
you
soon as
realize
I
how
realize-
ubiquitous the property they come from is.
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. I can picture them like their suits.
There are lots of nautical nonsense that follow these guys.
I give up. I'm going to be vexed for too long.
They don't live in a pineapple under the sea, but they're nearby.
I never fucked with SpongeBob.
No, Coy, why?
I just find it like really sophomoric in a way that didn't like appeal. Like I'm really hard with comedy. Like I don't watch a lot of comedy, and I don't rewatch comedy almost ever. Like I think Shane Black and Martin McDonough are the only two people that write comedy that like fits me. I'll watch like a comedy in theaters.
Very specific.
Yeah, like I'll watch a comedy in theaters once, and I can like laugh with the audience and enjoy that joy. But like the average comedy on TV, I'm like I just feel like I feel like Kal-El. I feel like I'm like I understand these people most of the time, but right now I'm a little outside my depth, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, that's fair.
And SpongeBob especially, I just like it felt very like. Oh, I'm losing time. Like I only have 24 hours in the day, and I only have at best 100 years to live. Why am I spending it here?
Evil, say the chat. Coy.
And most of the time, people are like, "Try this show," and I was like, sorry, I tried."
Coy, now is the time. If you weren't there as a kid, you're gonna connect with it now as an adult man.
Guys, we're all dying, so I would recommend doing other things.
The four of us are dying. Alrighty. Remember, we left off at Ferretland on the soups. Let's check in with the Streamlabs real quick, because we got a few. More than a few. We got
Hell
a
yeah.
handful, and I love a handful,
Appreciate y'all.
Coy. Nuts are good in a handful. Rumors are good in a handful. Goodness gracious me. Okay, I know what to do. I just got to use my eyeballs. That's all we do here, Coy, is use our eyeballs. Hey, we got Dunst, Tunst. Okay, let's see here. Tunst 8290. Let's see. There. Thank you, by the way, for jumping in on the Streamlabs.
Kicking us off.
VM Apri, which is an abbrev that you can decipher on your own. There are a lot of people saying that the MCU fell off, but I think it's just a stumble. Do you think Deadpool is going to be the movie to totally pull the MCU back out of its rut, if you can even consider this a rut?
I think like all roller coasters, it's high, it's low, it has little bumps in the middle. I think we're in the bumps, but I don't think it's a rut, because a rut implies stopping. Even my least favorite Marvel films are at least something worth watching and enjoying. So I don't think it's stopped. I don't think it fell off. I do think it's been more experimental. I think it's been more ambitious. I do think it had the biggest two hurdles in the entertainment industry in the last 20 years, between the pandemic and the strike. Like, those are huge roadblocks. And whenever those equivalent stumbles happened before, there wasn't a shared universe, and there wasn't this giant machine. Like, so I don't think it's fair. And like I said earlier, a $1 billion movie a year and a half ago and an $800 million movie this year are certainly not, like, those are insane numbers. But people don't think that way. They think about the last 5 minutes, because we're all dying.
Yeah.
Remember that.
Yeah.
Do something fun today. We're all dying.
I don't know. I mean, I am not personally counting on Deadpool is not the character, nor is the movie that I would rely on to set like the overall continuity back in line, just because I associate the character and the presence with being so anarchic, and I know that they're going to be doing a bunch of stuff with the Fox universe. I can see how Deadpool 3 may sort of set and kind of I don't know, kind of
bring it all together. I think it's gonna be like the beginning of us getting the map they've started drawing,
and the like definitive collision of X-Men Fox stuff with the new MCU.
We get to mourn Fox, which we never got to do. Like
True.
Between Dark Phoenix and the way they released
what do
New
you
Mutants,
mean, Coy?
Like the last two the Fox universe gave us so much. I maintain they were not great X-Men movies, but damn, they were good mutant movies. And and Logan's exceptional, but I do think that Deadpool is a highlight like Logan is, and they deserve that bittersweet beauty that Deadpool is. Yeah. His comedy comes from a place of trauma, and the X-Men are a traumatic world. I'm excited for them to get their swan song.
Yes, I am as well, and I'm excited to see what I know. They've said, part of this may be, or speculation says that part of this may be, figuring out through the multiverse how we're going to kind of pick and choose what we want to keep, and then kind of melt all that into a new, somewhat sacred timeline.
Yeah.
And I think that could be an interesting and fun thing, and I do see a Deadpool movie doing that. At the very least. And it will be, too. It's unprecedented because we haven't seen Deadpool as part of the MCU yet. So, I am still, while being of that opinion, I'm still waiting to see what Deadpool's interaction, now that he's home, will be like.
Wait, before you scroll. This next one says, no need to advertise. I don't know if they want us to avoid it, but good God, look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
I think that maybe they want their privacy, but we should let them know. Fucking thank you.
Fucking... Yes.
Yeah. I don't. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to handle
that.
that.
Always so shy to swear on camera now.
I don't know how to.
No,
we're an hour in. I checked before I said fuck.
We'll be discreet. Can I at least shout your name?
I don't know. They said not to.
Don't. All right.
Well, maybe they are okay with that. Hey. CW. It's a great network.
Yes.
Unrelated to anything. CW is a fantastic network.
Our super
We're
sexy
so
reject.
appreciative of the CW. I mean, and those 4 words could mean something totally different, but that's how I'm reading it.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean? But now we're giving the CW some love.
Yes, absolutely.
The CW doesn't need commercials.
Not at all.
No, but we appreciate the CW very much.
Oh my God, dude! Thank you for being here. If you're still in the stream, sound off.
I'm assuming that's what that means.
Yeah. Just happy. Seriously, I am overwhelmed.
I am quite,
because I haven't been in the chair for this. So yeah, thank you so much, dude. Thank you for being a good human. I know we joke about it all the time on the shout-outs and stuff. But yeah, like, I don't know. You are one of the more inspiring members of the Reject Nation, and you take such good care of us. You are so, generous with your time and your energy. And
I'm just saying, Smallville started, the superhero TV movement in a big way, and that was on the CW back when it was the WB.
Yeah,
that weird little frog.
And then Supernatural was there,
and that just kept
up until the
content
end.
Going.
That's
and
true.
then it had a short-lived sequel. And to this day, those two guys are great. I don't even know. I didn't ever watch Supernatural, but I watched the fuck out of a Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki TikTok. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah.
Those guys are delights.
Padalecki talk.
They are charm incarnate.
Charm, man. All right. Well, thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. We are humbled, to say the least, here. Even for discretion.
I'm just saying. I assume that's
off
why.
Real quick, and we're gonna scroll.
There it is.
We're gonna scroll.
Boom.
We're gonna.
What a kindness.
Hopefully protect your privacy. And that's the way. No, I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna pit generosity against generosity. But especially, the discretion. You're a lovely-hearted dude, and we're grateful and blessed to have you. The Gamer MJ, we are grateful and blessed to have you as well. Love you guys. I loved The Marvels, top 5 films of the year. And I'm not being facetious because I enjoyed The Marvels at least on various levels. How many movies have you seen this year? Not to say that it would delegit.
I see what you're saying.
Taste is subjective, but I'm curious as to what else would be ranked.
Yeah, what else?
And I am thrilled, truthfully, honestly. I'm glad that so many people are loving and having fun with it. Controversial, I know. But did you hear that Steven Yeun is Sentry be interesting to see how they make him the Thunderbolt's villain, and how they will the Void, and if they'll retcon his origin story.
The Void is his dark side.
Okay.
Like that's the evil side of Sentry. Sentry's good. Void is bad. I'm curious what origin they'll have. I do think it'll be interesting to see Sentry because he's so powerful. Like, I gotta be honest, I've never really understood the love for Sentry because he's just Superman with darkness. But I think it'll be interesting to see if they can make me like a character that I didn't particularly love. Like, and that's the fun of these movies is sometimes it can show me a more lean version of a character that I can, really appreciate. So I'm hopeful for that with Sentry. And we'll see what they do for Origin, mixing him with some Thunderbolts goodness.
I'm excited, especially if he is like kind of the main, I don't know, antagonistic force.
Yeah.
Or something like that, and a character who gets to play multiple sides of a personality. Let's get that James McAvoy split energy going, except only 2 personalities.
But still, big difference.
Still impressive, all right? Tom Hardy did that movie nobody liked, but he was good in it, where he was 2 guys.
With it. Yeah.
Well, then Coy liked it.
I liked it.
I didn't see it, so I don't know. I don't know.
It's not like exceptional, but it's like a good time. But it's because of the Tom Hardy performance, obviously.
I'll accept it, Coy. Ronan TE, thank you for joining in on the Streamlabs. Y'all got, we can... It's just so much bigger here.
It's so much bigger here.
Y'all got the drip today, looking good. Thank you, appreciate it. Color coordinated, and we're bouncing off each other's
purple
colors.
And green.
Too,
we're doing the like Loki and Kang colors as well as the purple and green. They're opposite ends of the color spectrum, I think.
And then got a little bit of this. Yeah,
also
you look like the Stormies.
Fun pants.
You do look like loked out right now.
I also brought very bright green shoes, which are not currently on. Because it's a shoes off place.
It's okay. You are very
much
the
green.
Coordinated, and we appreciate it. Y'all got the drip today, looking good. So I haven't seen many Marvel movies, and I barely read the comics. So I had a question. What kind of a character is Reed Richards compared to someone like Doom? And who would you all want to play him? I assume y'all mean Doom, we've well trodden who we would like to see as Reed and who may be Reed now. But yeah, who would you like to see as Doom? And just a real quick, because we have been over at least elements of this.
Aggressively arrogant, all-powerful dictator is Doom, and Reed is an aggressively arrogant, smartest man in the room that knows it, who is a family man but often realizes that he's been negligent to his family at his own good. Like, he tries to be good, and it's Marvel's first family. He's the patriarch, but he gets wrapped up in science and equations and stuff a lot. And so he's a dad that, is a little absent-minded professor, but instead of the fun hijinks, it's like, what have I done? And at times he goes a little evil, becomes the maker, but most of the heroes in Marvel eventually go evil because they've been running 60 years. Who I'd want to play Doom? I've always wanted Rufus Sewell. He's the knight, the evil knight in A Knight's Tale.
Yes.
I'm a big Rufus Sewell guy.
Yeah.
I wanted someone a little bit more unknown to get that, because Marvel does really well at casting actors that are really talented that aren't household names and elevating them to household name. And I feel like Rufus Sewell is absolutely that. He's also got the physicality. He's a bigger guy. He and Heath Ledger are also the reason there's David Bowie in A Knight's Tale. They paid for those music rights out of their own pocket, which I adore. I've interviewed Rufus a couple times, and he always tells me one new A Knight's Tale fact because he knows how obsessed I am. And this most recent time we spoke, he was like, and I was like, that's the coolest. Like, he's that cool of a guy, but he plays that darkness well. So I got a lot of love for Rufus just as a person. And he gets coffee at my coffee shop too. So I see him sometimes. I'm like, that's a knight.
I just saw that. Me and Andrew Gordon just watched that a month or two ago.
I adore that film.
First time. It was beautiful.
That's one of my favorite
beautiful movie.
Yeah, Heath's the reason I got into the entertainment industry, and that movie and 10 Things were a big part of that. So
I got to see 10 Things.
Those movies are like, but yeah, Rufus Sewell. If Ben Foster was a foot taller, I think he's got that incredible manic voice that isn't quite the right thing for Doom, but I want to see him in the MCU. So he's someone I just throw around there a lot. I think Doom's voice is so important. It's got to be powerful and billowing. So it's tricky, man. But yeah, Rufus Sewell.
Kelsey Grammer.
Obviously. CGI beast himself.
Yes, we could do it like Andy Serkis and King Kong.
I mean, Andy Serkis would be a great Doom if they had a different body for him.
Yeah,
I mean, you wouldn't be able to hear that it's Claw in there. Just have a...
I mean, yeah, he would have a totally different accent.
It'd be a great Doom? He's already Heimdall, but man, Idris Elba.
Oh!
The body, the voice, the presence.
I mean, that's one of those casts. Like, I love him as Heimdall, but it's also one of those castings where you're like, you could be doing more with Idris.
Yeah, he's Idris Elba. That's why, in the third movie, they're like, give him stuff to do.
Yeah. Totally.
Who else would be good? Yeah, it's got to be the physicality. It's got to be the voice. It's got to be like all encompassing. I'm gonna think on it while we do this.
Yeah, I like that Tori Jerry in the chat just said, what does it read? Is Tony Stark if he was a simp? I'm down for that interpretation.
That's funny. I like that.
Bucky Barnes ATL also wants to know who's the superhero you would all like to see a better version of in the chat. So I mean, we can think on that, but that's mainly to the chat. Yeah, I need me an X-Men cartoon version of Archangel and the Iceman, says Bucky Barnes. So think about those recasts, and we're gonna move on to.
That was my #1 pick in the video I made about Doom was Viggo Mortensen.
Oh yeah, looky there.
I forgot about my own pick, Seattle. Thank you. Yeah,
I go back. You gotta watch some Koi's Comic Corner.
I should check out Koi's Comic Corner to see what past Koi had to say.
Absolutely.
Present Koi's tired and he forgot past Koi's thoughts.
It's okay. Pedro Pascal. Mock or Mackay. Absolutely loving the Madagascar series y'all have been doing. Thank you very much. Those have been fun. A nice surprise. I remember as a lad when they were coming out in the theaters, I was like, and now I'm regretting that choice. But I'm also grateful for that choice because it means we can do it here. Yeah, it's weird. There was a time in the earlier days of the channel it would always be like, oh, I feel like I gotta have the utmost knowledge of every film, and I'm always feeling embarrassed for the things I haven't seen. And now it's the complete opposite, where it's like, I'm so glad there are so many things I haven't seen. But yes, could we get a Penguins of Madagascar Christmas special reaction? It's got the old lady in it. We'll see. We've got the third one in the works. We'll see how that does. And, we got Christmas season coming up. I don't know exactly what the schedule is going to be, but there's definitely going to be some holiday and Christmas-centric content, and if the Madagascars keep on chugging, I would at least imagine that it is a distinct possibility, and I appreciate. I'm going to screenshot this as a suggestion just in case, because that old lady, she's throwing down, and she's got good survivalism skills too. So anyway.
I want to go through like Christmas movies I haven't seen. I want to try to hone in on some Christmas first time watches, because there's got to be stuff I've missed.
Oh, most certainly, samesies, dude. Hey, Mr. Juan Ibar, first. I want to send you both some love, not just me. I really appreciate the positivity you both bring to the world. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. It's hard work. If Mahershala Ali decides to drop out of Blade, who would you want to fill the role? My vote would be for Lakeith Stanfield. I was going to joke Lakeith Stanfield just because I feel like he would be a very chill and sort of like reserved Blade. Although, I mean, again, I would be excited to see him play something a little bit more, not that Blade is like a bombastic character necessarily, but somebody a little bit more beyond the energy register that I associate with him.
Yeah, I think of him as like a Carnage Joker vibe. That's why Brother Voodoo, if you made him more energetic. But like, I don't know, Blade's got an intimidation factor that's like really intense. That's why Wesley Snipes was so good, because that dude's so intense. And like, he's so joyous, but he's still got that like, he can be very terrifying.
Give me Boyega.
Boyega seems so like pleasant and happy.
That's fair. See, I got to know him as Moses, so I got to know Gruff
and
attack the block.
I could see it.
But it's not the perfect. I'd have to think on that and put it to the chat as well. If Mahershala Ali leaves, who should be Blade?
I already cast him earlier, but my boy Yaya, I'm always gonna cast, man. Yaya's so
I could see
good.
He took over from Morpheus. He could do Blade.
Yeah,
he could do Blade. I feel like there's another good choice that I'm just missing right now. So, if it comes back to me, obviously.
Francis, yes.
Ooh.
UFC fighter. He's a beast. I mean, acting is more important than physicality, but I love that pick. I'd love him as a variant for a couple scenes.
Hey, GOM Films in the chat. Go check out GOM Films. Does some hilarious dub videos, among other things. I love it. Vampires. I'm trying to think of what way I'm supposed to read this and if I'm missing a reference. So, oh my God, no.
Mayday.
Stop.
Mayday.
Can't click too many things. Galaghost is Andres is into the Yahya. Oh, John David Washington. I don't hear his voice as Blade.
I hear his dad's voice when he speaks, and it's very distracting for me. Because like watching Tenet, I was like, this guy's great, and then I was like, I feel like I'm watching Denzel in a movie 20 years ago.
Will Smith Blade. I like it. I think that we
as long as he makes the soundtrack.
Yeah. Michael B. Jordan for Blade. Why not? Just keep on. Anas, if Venom 3 leaks are true. Two things. First, I will be seated. Also, one thing. thank you. I will be seated in the theater day fucking one, mate. And second, depending again if leaks are true, that baby in Madam Web is definitely Peter, and cinema is back, bruv. What do you think? Okay, well, okay, got it. So we will be there day fucking one for Venom 3 as well.
100%.
But yeah, I haven't actually read any Venom 3 leaks, so
I haven't either. Now I'm afraid.
Yeah, I know.
Now that we've said it out loud, the chat's going to be like, well, here's the whole movie, and I'm going to be like, fuck.
But yeah, if that baby in Madam Web is Peter, then cinema is going to at least experience some disturbances or some, excited hubbub.
I mean, they said at the opening of the trailer, meanwhile, in another universe. So it's not the Sony mainstream sacred timeline of Sony. So I would be curious to see if at the end of the movie, depending on how they handle the Inheritors or Morlun, or if it's going to be Ezekiel, if Ezekiel's trying to kill the spider totems to prevent the Inheritors from coming, and that gets us our first Spider-Man, like just independent Sony Spider-Man. That'd be interesting.
Absolutely. Ooh, fun. God, so many Spider-Man cores.
Yeah, so many things to do and hope and believe.
I think we do need the Sony universe.
I think they're great.
I think it serves more of a purpose than people give it credit for.
Thank you, John. I agree.
Nikolai Moline, thank you for your generous Streamlab over here.
Oh, Aldous Hodge. Great call.
Aldous Hodge.
I got a lot of love for Aldous Hodge.
There we go. Good call. And I was waiting for, again,
Aldous Hodge is so
waiting
good,
for him to come to mind. He is a terrific actor, and he's been holding it down for so long.
He's like a 10-year overnight success, or 20. Like, that guy's like, oh, now we know Aldous Hodge. But, like, if you look at his resume, he's been killing it forever. Also, in City on a Hill, my dude Jonathan Tucker, who should also be a household name.
Boogie. Good day, John and Coy, says Nikolai Moline. How are you guys doing? We're pleasant today. This has been a fun, pretty smooth stream,
positive,
I think.
Enjoyable.
Yeah.
Not mad at it. Dimitri, I would make Venom have a white suit, a white spider in his chest. Otherwise, it's pretty comic accurate. Like, Todd McFarlane's Venom is so funny and weird, and Tom Hardy gets that.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, I interrupted.
It's all good. I hope to see Pedro Pascal in Marvel at some point, but hopefully not in a controversial or bad movie. I think we can all agree about that. And it's a shame Kang Dynasty is canceled. Was hoping to see the Avengers and Daredevil. Have a nice day. I mean, we could still get the Avengers and Daredevil at some point for some reason, right?
Also, Kang Dynasty isn't technically canceled.
That's
it just
true.
might be within the week. I mean, it could be at any time. Like, it's just they lost, a writer and director.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, man. It's a mess. I think we'll know by 2024.
Yes.
I think the holidays they're gonna try to figure it all out.
January 1st, 12:01
New
a.m.
Year's. It's
they're
time
gonna
to
be
announce
like,
the
no
plan.
more Kang Dynasty. That's gonna be it. And oh, hey, we're at the top. Hey, we're gonna have to close the submissions soon, but not yet. So you still got a little bit of time. The gamer MJ, have you guys seen? Thank you, by the way. The rest of the Tomorrowverse, we have not. There's 3 connected ones: the Legion of Superheroes, which the end leads into Justice League War World, and the end of that leads into the new Crisis film. There is the Doom That Came to Gotham, which is Lovecraftian Batman as well. Yeah, right now, those are sort of on a pause. To be quite frank, they trailed off a little bit, and it became just a kind of a difficult thing to accommodate without, sort of being at a disadvantage in the process. So, not to say that they'll never come back. Obviously, there's definitely a possibility, and I've been certainly, like, the Doom That Came to Gotham certainly appeared Lovecraftian. That really excites me. And I've been kind of holding off just, with the sort of hope in the back of my mind that maybe we can find a way to incorporate those down the line at some point. There are no plans for that. Don't get your hopes up. But I appreciate this info. Definitely going to keep note of. In fact, I'm going to screenshot this.
Another
for
screenshot.
The future. Yep, just to keep note, because hey, like, regardless of where those are at right now, being on pause and whatever else, it was such a joy and a blast getting to watch those, and anytime anyone brings them up, anytime anybody expresses joy for those, it makes me happy because I really, really, really loved getting to do those. And
Yeah, it was a fun,
loved
consistent.
to share that with you.
Yeah, and it was a great discovery of new stuff I didn't know, sharing stuff I knew John didn't know, like watching the Superman return story, like the Return of Superman. I was like, I know it's gonna, because I love those comics. That was really fun to share by way of experiencing someone experiencing it for the first time.
Yeah, and I think I am much more of like an animation head than you may be. So, that too, having that inroad, through something that is like, such a huge love and passion and interest for you, and then me on the other end getting able to learn, from your expertise, through that medium. It was a nicely balanced endeavor. So I appreciate that. And Gamer MJ with a follow-up real quick. Appreciate you again. Double appreciate. John, you make some valid points. But to answer your questions, I've seen various films this year, and the likes of Talk to Me, to The Creator, which is also in the top 5, to Missing. That one was Storm Reed, but I may be biased because I just love comic book movies so much.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I was just being facetious.
Talk to Me, I really, really dug.
I still need to see it. I was so excited for the Raka Raka Gang, and I've heard it's like a kind of a harsh watch, but I like a harsh watch, and I'm down for it. So yeah, not in any way to discredit or belittle your choice. Like, I'm glad that you can include the Marvels in the top 5 of the year, and I can see. I can pretty easily see through to the alternate universe where, like, this is an effortlessly fun time. I got hung up on a couple just form elements most of all, rather than anything they were attempting to do in concept. So yeah, no, I love that you loved it. And I'm excited for Talk to Me. The Creator, definitely left an impression on me, and I'm glad at least that people are, keeping its spirit alive. It's not a perfect movie, but And then Missing is another one I'm really excited to see. I think Greg,
Missing's so good,
and Tara or Roxy, Greg and Roxy maybe did a reaction, but yeah, I've heard.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters and I was blown away. I saw the first one in theaters. It was a huge surprise. I just randomly
searching,
was like, I love John Cho, and then I just walked in. I was like, this movie's great. And then when Missing came out, I was like, the people are discovering the glory of John Cho and these weird. They're so good.
John Cho for Blade.
John Cho for Blade.
Calling
confirmed.
it right now. John Cho.
Locking him in.
That's right, man. I wish I could scroll back, but it's probably lost now. Oh, hey, no problem, Nikolai. I'm glad I didn't butcher your last name. I do my best. I could see one of the Skarsgård actors, Gustav. There's a Gustav Skarsgård.
There are more
playing Doom. Hold on, really quick.
Look him up.
Gustav Skarsgård.
What a name, Gustav Skarsgård.
There is a Gustav Skarsgård,
guy.
and I saw his picture, and my first thought was, "Is this guy an actor on Vikings?"
And then there he
sure
is.
enough, this guy is an actor on Vikings.
Look at the picture of the 3 Skarsgårds.
There's got to be
Look at all the Skarsgårds.
a weird rhyme to encapsulate that.
Man. Bill kept busy. Or no, Stellan kept busy. He's the daddy.
My man's has quite the has quite the clan.
Prolific.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good tall genes. Look at all these giant Skarsgårdians.
Skarsgårdians of the Galaxy. That's the one we need. I want them to do like an Ocean's 12 where they're just like, screw it. Julia Roberts is an in-universe character, and she's also Tess.
A council of Skarsgård.
Yes, and they look over all of acting. Okay, good. Okay, I'm finding out where we left off here. We're so close. I think we left off with Ferretland and the
Inner Machinations?
The rift.
Oh, the people discovering I don't like comedy.
Yeah, the people discovering you had no childhood. You were born in a test tube.
I
and
did
you came out like this.
I liked the generations before comedy. I liked the original Animaniacs.
It's Gustav
I liked Freakazoid. I liked
Freakazoid.
I liked the Pinky and the Brain. I was a big fan of most Saturday morning cartoons, like the Batman X-Men animated series era. But it was the next generation. It didn't get me, and I haven't come back.
You know who we need Static Shock.
Oh, we do.
We need Static Shock
and
on the
then
case.
some.
Static Shock and Freak. I don't know if I ever want a live action Freakazoid. It could work. I want more Freakazoid in this life somehow.
Everybody always talks about the kid from Stranger Things being cast in a comic movie, and I'm like, man, that kid is Static Shock.
Which one? Oh, Lucas.
Yeah, I forget his name. I was trying to think of his real
I was
name.
like, oh, which of the white kids?
Finn Wolfhard as Static Shock.
Finn Wolfhard should have all the roles.
Especially Static Shock.
Yes,
no, I
especially
can't remember the
Static
actor's
Shock.
name, and I feel bad. Obviously, Lucas is the character.
Coy,
Anyway,
obviously, you're an idiot because his name is Caleb McLaughlin.
Obviously.
That I remembered that, of course.
he, I met him at the Creed 3 premiere after party, and he was so kind to every single kid. Like, there was a long line of kids that were just so excited to meet the guy from Stranger Things, and he was so patient, and he, like, sat down with them and just talked and I was like, dude, this
Aw.
kid is big fan of Caleb McLaughlin as a human.
Hey, I'm glad to hear that. Especially when we live in a post Noah Schnapp is always in some weird controversy world.
You know who isn't? Caleb McLaughlin.
Caleb McLaughlin
out there
holding
doing
it
good
down.
stuff quietly, not bragging about how great he is.
Absolutely.
Caleb McLaughlin, great dude.
Maria Jose Neguerrela. I'm so trying to get everyone's name right, and it becomes a game for me. I'm like, I have to now pronounce your name, Lopez. The Skarsgårds and the New Baldwins, absolutely, and less controversial. Nicholas Armstrong, Madagascar 3 is in the works. Keep an eye out, and Bryan Cranston as Magneto, says Natalie Brooks. It's out there, but yeah, magnets, bitch.
Aaron Paul
Science,
is Magneto?
bro. Either one is both.
Reverse the polarity, bitch.
Both of them are Magneto. Anyway, Odile Jones, thank you for joining in. I believe you're in the UK. So
Bedtime, I remember
gonna
his
bust
character's
out-
name. I forgot his name as a person. I'm so sorry. I don't see the name Caleb McLaughlin often.
Oh, it's
But
okay.
now I know.
It's okay. It's
Finn
okay.
Wolfhard as Timothy Chalamet as Wonka.
Oh no, that's a Saturday Night Live sketch that'll happen someday. Anyway, Odile Jones after Barbie, WB will want to keep Greta Gerwig. So, what DC character would you like to see her direct and or write? I say Gotham Sirens or Zatanna. What say you, Coy?
I would love to see her do a Zatanna movie. I mean, you guys know from watching the DC animated how much I love Zatanna and how much I'm
Yes.
pulling for Zatanna. I think
Yes.
that she would get the weird occult stuff that Sam Raimi played with the Multiverse of Madness, but more in a tone that would fit the rest of the universe really well. And I think Greta Gerwig is such a fantastic director. Barbie's my number 2 movie of the year, and it would be number 1 almost any year, but Across the Spider-Verse came out this year. Barbie was like, it's in my top maybe 30, 20 movies of all time. Like, Barbie, I love.
Barbie was pretty great.
So yeah, I really want Greta Gerwig in the DCU, and Zatanna would be incredible. One of my favorite new, I know Greta Gerwig's work. Like, I saw Little Women and stuff, but after Barbie, I'm like, she's one of my favorite directors to watch plus Zatanna all day.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Zatanna would be my, immediate choice. I'm trying to think of any other
I'd love to see her do a Poison Ivy movie.
Sure.
And
part of me
that
doesn't-
character is lush and doesn't but doesn't get enough credit as her own character because of Harley.
Yeah. I like the idea of a character that has a bit more, not like a Catwoman, and not that they even have to be like a woman character. I feel like we should live in a world where it's
Women
not-
can direct men.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
They don't speak the same language. John, we went over this. Do they bring Duolingo to set, or do they have a translator?
There's a translator.
Okay.
They have like a computer. That
Got
does
it. In
that,
this
yeah.
case, I mean, Ryan Gosling was definitely translating.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey,
He was
girl.
translating for all of us.
Every line is, "Hey, girl."
Hey, girl.
That's how he speaks.
Oh, real quick. MJ. All right, Maria, I'm going to call you MJ from now on. I appreciate the clarification. Also love that there is some Caleb love in the chat.
Choo-choo.
And MD Masoom Rana Dewan. I did not hear that the showrunner of Spectacular is writing a Miles and Peter book next year, but I bet Coy's excited.
Also excited for that
Ooh.
Ultimate Spider-Man run.
Yeah, look out. All right. And hey, someone just said they were peacing out. So have a good rest of your day, N8. Hope that you enjoy your holidays if we don't see you sooner. But yeah, would love to see, I don't know, give Greta Gerwig a Constantine side of the universe. I don't know, for whatever reason, this question made me think of the Constantine movie City of Angels, right? City of Demons, where you had the personified city lady character and stuff. And I have no idea why that is on my mind here, but in order to have an interesting answer, I'm going to say that maybe that could be cool. But yeah, I would love to see a Greta Gerwig Zatanna, most def.
I'd also love to see her do Booster Gold.
Ooh,
I think she would understand the tone very well.
Fun, Coy.
Right, very,
Coy.
very
I
good
love
tone.
this choice.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think she could handle Booster Gold really well. And I'd even like it as a long-form TV show because I think they're doing it TV, but I think she would really get the meta awareness of Booster. Give me that.
Yeah. And, hey, let's see. Somebody in the
Damn Them All is a
chat-
great run over by Simon Spurrier at Boom Studios. It's like very Constantine, but like just full freedom. It's a new character. Damn Them All. Boom Studios comic. It's only on issue 10 as of this week. Check it out.
And
Good call, James.
MD Massoum again in the chat. I want a Jordan Peele DC movie. Hell, Etrigan by Jordan Peele. Give me the Jordan Peele Etrigan. The bars alone are gonna be exquisite. What popular song will he take and make a creepy piece of score?
Into it.
Either way, I'm
So about
into it. Game Night J14. Thank you for being here and contributing. You guys are my favorite reaction duo on the channel. Thank you so much. I
Aw.
appreciate it. I feel like we haven't done one
In
together
a
in a
while.
while, but
We brought out Game Night.
but I love. Ooh, I've never seen Game Night.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Damn it, Coy. You got my hopes up.
I never lie and say I haven't seen a thing, because then if I like react too soon, I'll be like, that's a lie, and I don't want the people to think. Because if I'm reacting, I'm honest.
Okay, well,
honest.
it's time for some honesty then. If
Okay.
you could make one superhero or villain movie, who would it be and why?
I would love to do a movie of Ben Reilly, and I want it to be an existential crisis about the weight of responsibility. And the villain on camera would be Kane, but the villain of the movie would actually be about like self-acceptance. Because I think it's really important. Like, we always have the punch 'em up villains, and I think that one of the reasons I like WandaVision so much was the Ship of Theseus moment. And I think if we incorporate that into Spider-Man more, instead of like, they have great morals in No Way Home, they do a really good job with those things. But I feel like it'd be cool to see Spider-Man grow up into his own independent self through like a Clone Saga story where the existential dread of maturing is represented by the clone, and you get to have Ben Reilly represent like the weight of trying to be too responsible, because with great power there must also come great responsibility, but you also need to understand you can't be responsible for everyone. So I think the Ben Reilly character, he's blonde, he works in a coffee shop, he's very much that like free-spirited version. It'd be cool to have him fighting a representation of too much responsibility. And then Kane is the stepchild, he's the kicked away, so it'd be cool to see like those shades in a moral compass story, all while Spider-Man's in college. And Spider-Man would be basically going through like the Harry Potter, Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy era of like juggling all that. In this case, if we use Tom Holland, MJ would be removed. You'd have him maybe meeting Gwen Stacy, and then the love triangle would be Felicia Hardy. And I'd have Felicia Hardy represent the freedom of what Spider-Man can be, but how that's a slippery slope into danger and crime. And then Gwen Stacy representing the moral compass of science and learning and growing. So you've got these two storylines, one where it's Peter Parker learning to grow and be his own man, and one where Spider-Man's learning to also let himself be a person.
Absolutely. I like
There's
these
my
pitches.
movie.
I like these pitches. I got a couple small quickies. My superhero ideal movies would either be, I would love to make a Bat and the Cat story that's basically like before midnight, or before sunrise, before sunset. One of those movies where it's basically
Selena Kyle, yeah.
Bruce Wayne, Selena Kyle. It starts out with just them, but then it kind of carries onto the rooftops of Gotham into costume. And like there is, comic book Gotham-y stuff. There is some crime, but that's not the main thrust of the movie. It would be like a back and forth. It would be very much like some kind of romantic play, but with, those superhero flavors and aesthetics. No way tonally like a Joker, but think of that kind of tone shift in terms of style, that style shift. That's always been a dream of mine. Also, I love Solomon Grundy, and I can imagine, even though he's always like a bit character, I can imagine doing a really cool, pretty laconic kind of movie, not much dialogue, but just watching the sort of rise and fall of this like poor hench who gets manipulated and then ultimately is killed and then is brought back, and just sort of like do this sort of Frankenstein-esque tragedy with sort of little pertinent dialogue, but just a lot of body language and a lot of atmosphere and mood, and really tell this sort of somber, melancholy tale of this monster who's just caught between all these different people.
Love that.
Final choice, least flesh out. I just think Spectre's a cool character, like cop gunned down, then comes back supernaturally to intervene on crime. And the character is never mentioned at all in any of this DC discourse, and I want it, so I'm going to make it.
Into both of those. Also, a Linklater-esque X-Men would be fun. Just a day in the mall with Jubilee.
Linklex-Men.
Yeah.
There's a portmanteau in there somewhere. Brandon Jed, thank you for the contribution. I'm gonna close off the Streamlabs in like 3, or the super chats in like 3 minutes.
3-minute warning.
So yeah, you can no pressure or anything. You guys have been super generous again. Really, really, really appreciate all of you. But we do have to end this at some point. Sorry. Even though we don't want to. I would stay on a 10-hour live stream with you guys, if I could, but we can't. Brendan Jett, I love that we're getting Sentry, but I'm pretty sure they're going to nerf him. I don't know. I mean, it depends. The Thunderbolts don't seem like the most super, all devastating, powerful
Yeah,
team.
I feel like Sentry might take out the Thunderbolts, and that'd be a nice change of pace for these team-up movies.
As if Sentry just comes in and decimates them.
I mean, he would in the comics.
Sure. Okay.
Especially this team of Thunderbolts. Also, someone in the chat just went by and said, I don't like comedies, but have you seen Game Night? I meant more comedy TV. I should have clarified. I don't rewatch a lot of comedy movies.
Like laughter.
Yeah, I don't like joy. No, I don't rewatch a lot of comedy movies.
I don't like comedy, says the guy who does comedy on stage on occasion.
That's true. December 2nd.
Yeah.
Flappers. But I don't rewatch a lot of comedy movies, and I don't tend to watch a lot of comedy TV. I've watched Atlanta. I've watched The Bear. But I generally
Bear is so funny.
It's got comedy. It's up for comedy.
It's
Anyway,
life.
I don't rewatch a lot of movies, and I don't watch a lot of comedy TV. Is what I should have said.
All right. We got it. We're clear. I am curious to know how they power scale. I could definitely imagine a situation in which the character does get nerfed. Although somebody pointed out that it was conscientious of them in the Marvels to do the switching thing because it does actually kind of balance the power scale so that it's not just Captain Marvel just coming in every 5 seconds and just power blasting everything and we're done. I have faith that they may be able to come up with some kind of, circumstance that might plausibly nerf the character without too much, fan backlash.
Yeah,
anyway, appreciate your contribution. Moving on, N8, or is it Nate? Either way, we are grateful for you. And hey, Coy, hey, John, happy Friday to you. Appreciate everything you do and all the free funny. I like the way you put that. See all the Fan Expo San Francisco attendees.
Oh.
Happy holidays.
I haven't. I'm not doing SF. I thought I was.
Wow, Coy.
I know.
You don't love nerds.
I don't love them. No, I mean, I just found out. But I will be, I think, doing MegaCon in Florida. So if you guys are around, I do believe February 1st through 4th, I'll be in Florida for MegaCon, which is the East Coast equivalent, but I will unfortunately not be making SF. But it does look stacked, so hopefully it's rad, and I send everybody my love, especially Carl Weathers, who is one of my favorites at these cons. Man. Carl Weathers is the best, man. I'd love sitting down with Carl, and he's going to be in SF, so send Carl my love. Look at this.
God, Mark Hamill, Ewan McGregor, Elijah Wood, Temuera Morrison, Shatner, Katie Sackhoff, Tudyk, Aston, Carl Weathers, so many people.
Jason Lee.
God, look at all these people. Too many to name. We got to move on, but this is stacked. And yeah, goody good. Go and report back if you're in SF for the expo. Nate, happy holiday. Skylar Hillman, thank you for being here. Pedro Pascal, collecting prominent roles like Thanos, gathering Infinity Stones so he can snap half of the movies ever made out of existence. And half the episodes in The Mandalorian. It'll be real confusing on a rewatch.
It would. Yeah.
Coy, I ended up enjoying the Marvels. What?
Hell yeah!
Secret Marvel movie in 2024?
I'm do you remember the live chat wherein I had an ongoing beef and I was very frustrated with someone in the chat because they were making examples that felt hyperbolically silly to me, including
sure.
This was that gentleman, and he sent me an apology, and it meant the world. It meant a lot because I was I'm so dumb for engaging with people with diametrically opposed views. There's never going to be a conversation.
You are dumb, Coy.
Well, there's never going to be a conversation on the internet that's going to actually have anyone, look at either their own or the other person's views and understand it. I was like, what a waste of energy. And then Skylar sent me a message, and I was like, hey, this actually caused us both to pause and look at our shit, and it means the world. And then he loved the Marvels. I didn't, which means he got 2 better hours of his life than I got from mine. So I'm very happy for him because I always want to like things, and I'm very happy you got 2 better hours of your life than I got of mine, and that makes me so joyous. So, hell yeah. I don't think we're getting a Secret Marvel movie. Maybe a Secret Marvel show, like they drop Ironheart or something. But I don't think we're getting a Secret Marvel movie. But I'm very, very stoked. You love the Marvel, Skylar.
Absolutely. And with that, gang, we are closing
What a
down
perfect last one to shut it down.
Super chat submissions. We're going to read the rest of them. Don't
Yeah, we're not
worry.
going anywhere.
And I love that when you choose to do this, YouTube gives you this warning. It's like, are you sure you want it? Do you understand the implications?
The implications. You have to check the box, understanding the implications.
All right. We're popped off, but we are going to complete what we've got
Men
here.
of honor.
We got 25 odd minutes left on this stream here, so we're gonna make the most of each minuto. Space titties. It's my favorite name of the day. What's your thoughts? Thank you for being here and gracing us with your voluptuousness. What's your thoughts on Pedro Pascal's casting rather than the Krasinski? I think it's more interesting. I thought he was fine in Multiverse of Madness. I'm sure it would have been good, but ultimately I am more excited by a choice that's less, like the one everybody wanted, I guess. So, I don't know.
I think I don't know. It's tricky because the Krasinski thing was always just a moment. It was never meant to be the read. And I think that it's the fact that people are saying, wait, I thought John Krasinski was Reed Richards kind of proves my point about variants not working in movies versus comics. Like, there's a different mindset. Like, variants in comic books are a different artist, a different inker, a different writer, or just like a comic is like, well, I'm not attached to this actor. That's a drawing of a character. Whereas in a movie, you're going to go like, oh, that's not R. Downey Jr. we lived with for 15 years as Iron Man. That's a different one from another Earth. You're not. You're going to go like, there he is. Like, if people think Krasinski's Reed, that kind of proves my point that people think that's Reed. So I always thought it was understood to be a variant, but more and more as the casting happens, most of my comments when I post about it are like, that was John Krasinski. I am conflicted because that does show that it's going to be a messy conclusion to this multiverse arc because of the language of comics, but I don't know what else they could do. I don't know about Pedro. We're going to have to see.
Lovely.
That was an answer.
That was a conscientious answer, Coy. I appreciate it, and good. I like the people are already preemptively leaving me name pronunciations in the chat. Good on you guys. Got to get everyone represented properly. Nick Alexander, you're the guy with the automobile dealership, right? Nick can't say no. Anyway, thank you for being here and contributing to the chat. Love you guys and these streams. Excited to watch later. Coy, fellow Bostonian.
Yeah.
Real quick, what's your favorite Boston-based hero?
Ooh, that's not easy.
I know what mine is. I don't think he's Boston-based, but his name is Boston.
Oh, I was gonna. Yeah, well, that's not. He's not like named after the city.
Yes, he
but,
is.
I mean,
Because he
Deadman
lives
is
there.
great.
He's named after the
Deadman
city.
is great. I mean, Captain Marvel comes to mind quickly. Ironheart went to MIT. But favorite, man, it's hard. I'm actually like drawing a blank on others right now. Let me
Keep thinking, Coy.
Let me be sure. Let me
My
be sure I'm not
favorite
missing.
Muppet.
I want to say Kyle Rayner's from Boston, but I think that's wrong.
Do it. Hey, just make it up right now.
I don't want to lie to the people.
And my favorite Muppet, man, that's a hard one because there's so many Muppet things I still have to see in this life. I think, Animal is probably the one that matches me the best.
Animal?
I am probably Animal. I mean, you gotta love a Kermit. Gonzo's real fun. Cookie Monster makes me laugh just because he's so, monosyllabic about things. Or, well, I guess Cookie is a two-syllable word.
I do love Dum Dum Dugan.
Dum Dum Dugan. You have a list here of all the Boston
Yes.
heroes. I'm glad somebody compiled it, though.
It's very efficient.
It's good.
I'm gonna lock it down. I'm gonna confirm.
All right.
Also, I think Captain Marvel's technically from Maine.
Stephen King.
Emma Frost.
Emma Frost.
Emma
we're
Frost,
doing it.
favorite Boston-based character.
Good pick. Coy, Mr. E.T., thank you for being here. Javier Bardem, rumored to be in talks for Galactus. But I want Doom first, and I want Anthony Starr to play Doom.
Anthony Starr. Apologies to Anthony who's in the chat.
It might be.
No, I repeated it, and that's guys names. Anthony Starr would be a really fun pick. He's got that Cheshire grin that's so like malicious. But I do feel like that's very like linear casting. That's very like, well, that makes sense. Man, he's fun. But I think that Galactus suits they're already going to have an established Fantastic Four and already have an established Doom in the world. So I think he might be in the movie, but I think a big bad like Silver Surfer and Galactus is more cosmic, and it's more like the scope of making the Fantastic Four feel different. So I understand where you're coming from, but I think the version of FF they're going to bring is Galactus will suit.
Groovy. All right. We're going to have to kind of start powering through. Raccoon Shampoo, back in action. Thank you so much for being here. I'm conflicted on them bringing the Fox versions and cast of the X-Men into the MCU, even if it's not permanent. Like, will it feel awkward if they introduce their own X-Men after everyone has already met the Fox X-Men?
Not when they die.
Not when they die, and not when they choose which ones to keep on hand.
I think we're going to get a bunch biting it in Deadpool, and then I think we're going to get all of them biting it in a beautiful, fun farewell in Secret Wars to allow us to bring in the new one.
I'm excited for that. Most deaf. Bucky Barnes, appreciate you holding it down in the chat for so many chats as well. So many of these live streams. Happy holidays, and I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you. Everybody in the chat, send some love Bucky Barnes' way. Bucky Barnes has been a staple of these live streams for a good amount of time now, and we couldn't do it without you, so we appreciate you very much. Milky Death, thank you for joining in. I have been saying Javier Bardem for Doom for years now. Now they're talking to him about Galactus when they need a Doom. Come on! But I feel like, and we've talked a lot about Doom, and we just talked about, a little bit Galactus too. In my, limited perspective, Javier Bardem actually sounds more apt to play a Galactus than, I don't know, I feel like Doom, I imagine a different stature, and for what they're doing here, a bit of a younger actor. Whereas, like, Galactus, I don't see that as being as important.
Or tied to 10 years of, just, it's a voice. My, Galactus is obvious.
Yes.
Michael Shannon.
Michael Sheen.
It's perfect. But I do think Javier Bardem a few years ago might have worked for a long-running character. I just don't know if he'd want to commit for 10 years.
Absolutely. Fair concern. Extreme Viper 99, thank you for joining in. And hey, thank you. Hey guys, first super chat, long-time listener, first-time caller. Thank you for jumping in for I'm not going to use that turn of phrase, for pulling that Band-Aid off with us. Huge fan of Koi's rants.
Yeah, I've been nice today, I promised.
Yeah, you think the Disney Plus shows are in different universes? Example, Moon Knight, not in the Sacred Timeline?
I do very much. I think we're going to find out in Secret Wars, and maybe, depending on if Kang Dynasty happens, that the universes we've been living through are not all the same one. So I do very much believe that we will have an experience where we're going to realize that characters haven't met and they get folded into each other and meet each other. I think that's how She-Hulk can break the fourth wall a bit. I think that's how Moon Knight happening in the way it has. I do think they're in different universes, yes.
Absolute vodka. Good. All right, let's get back on to where we were. Sorry, I just did one more refresh. Golly, we do have to do a lightning round here.
Okay.
Yeah, so where are we at? No. Goodness gracious, you guys have been so generous today, too. All right, let's see. We scrolling. Ooh. Okay, there we go. We gotcha. All right, let's get these back up on screen. And Angel Bautista, thank you for joining in the chat. Super chats, there we go. Yeah, cool. Is Deadpool 3 the connector to all the multiverse jumps with Spider-Man, The Marvels, Shang-Chi, etc.?
I believe so. I think it's not only going to end the Fox universe or start the path that ends the Fox universe, but is also the great connector because he is a fourth wall breaking, all-seeing omnipresence, or not to that level. But yes, I think he's going to be very integral to connecting everything coming this July.
Gia. Good answer, Koi. I appreciate that. Deadshot. What are we? Some kind of super chat squad? Thank you for being here. Hey guys, want to know your thoughts on Steven Yeun playing Sentry? We have trodden that ground quite a bit. I'm a little bit more familiar. I'm looking forward to it. Koi a little less familiar with his chops. Gonna have to play two sides of a personality, two sides of a power set. But at least cautiously optimistic. Some people seem to be upset about it, but I don't see it as a drastic change.
I mean, he's a big, jacked Fabio-looking guy. Visually, it's a very big change. Steven Yeun seems like a more slight man. Doesn't quite live in the gym like Fabio. But
steroids.
Maybe get some steroids, get some flowing locks, and then we'll see. I think acting is more important, but we'll see what happens.
Absolutely, I love acting too. Hey, King Tut. Ramatut, thanks for joining the chat all the way across the multiverse. If Pedro Pascal is officially cast as Reed Richards, what actors could you see having great chemistry with him playing the roles of the First Family? I mean, we've got some pretty strong rumors, but hey, throw out
and for years.
yes, and they haven't really shifted that much. Well, kind of a little bit, but yeah.
I'll do one variant of each.
One variant. Go.
Holt McCallum thing.
Yes.
I want it forever.
Okay.
I want. Man, Emily Blunt would have been a good Sue, but it's just too easy. I'm gonna do a better one. I'm gonna do a different one. That way, it's not just the easy choices all around. I think. You got any?
Good. Better be good.
I just want him to be good.
I had
Zac Efron's too easy. Emily Blunt's too easy.
Glenn Powell as Johnny Storm.
I want Glenn Powell in DC more than Marvel, which is funny.
Fair.
Okay, Human Torch. I'ma go
5, 4, 3.
Barry Keoghan, Human Torch.
Okay.
Cillian Murphy, Doctor Doom.
Good.
Carrie Condon, Sue Storm.
Groovy.
And
the donkey from Banshees of Inisheer.
and Colin Farrell is Thing for an all Irish Fantastic Four.
Beautiful. The first family.
The first family of Dublin.
Dream Boy, thank you for being here. Thank you for enchanting our dreams. And R.I.P. my dreams of Andrew Lincoln from Reed Richards, for Reed Richards, as Reed Richards, from The Walking Dead, from Love Actually, and other things that are overshadowed by those two properties.
It doesn't seem like it's fully, totally inked. So wait to R.I.P. those dreams.
Yeah.
Also, someone in the chat said Bill Burr's The Thing, and it is fucking clobbering time.
I love it.
I am about that.
I can hear him throwing that line. It's clobbering time.
Also, Old Dads. Dude, Old Dads on Netflix is so funny.
I gotta see
It's a comedy I
That's
may
a
actually
comedy
rewatch in
Chloe
the next 5 to 10 years.
Monumental day.
Big
hey,
moment.
Hold out on those hopes for Andrew Lincoln. He could still pop up. Robbo96, thank you for joining in the chat. Do you think the way Marvel is right now, starring in an MCU project, is a stain on an actor's filmography? No, I don't think so. I mean, it is the thing that, I don't know, it seems like a fun enough assignment for everybody, and I feel like if any of these guys, these thespian actors especially that they pull in for these things, like, they will be able to go off and do any amount of slightly less budgeted or independent fare that they want to do, and I don't think unless it's a situation like a Jonathan Majors where there's like a whole bunch of other stuff that doesn't even relate to this that's affecting it. I just doubt, like, unless you come in and just do a really bad job or something, I don't think it's...
Yeah, I think it's like a way to get to be a household name, and then you get more leverage to do the films that you are, if you're like an art house actor, then you can make movies happen easier. It's getting a budget for a movie is not easy, and if you're more of a household name, it allows you to make more work, so I think it's a net positive for any actor.
Gia. Richie Brash, thank you so much for being here and joining in. I am really disappointed that Adam Driver isn't going to be Reed. Thought he would have been perfect. What young individual will Pedro be protecting in Fantastic Four?
His kids. I imagine at least Franklin Richards is in there. I think they're going to have Marvel's first family be fully fledged family with their kids.
I know what they're going to do. They're going to put Jonathan Majors' head on like a baby body, like that movie with Marlon Wayans, and that's going to be Nathaniel Richards.
How
right
they
there.
do.
That's going
right
to be.
There.
He's going to have him in like one of those little
baby Bjorn.
Baby Bjorn.
But it's going to be his own long arms wrapped around.
Yes.
That's how it's done.
You heard it here first. Leaks. It's all confirmed. Rick Alt, thank you for being here. Thank you for the very generous contribution. My fan cast for Reed has always been Brendan Roth, Superman Returns fame. Ever since I saw him in DC Legends of Tomorrow, he's been my dream Mr. Fantastic, though I don't know if he'd want to play another superhero now. I don't know if I would necessarily be, like, gleeful, but I'm always kind of rooting for Brandon Routh. I liked him as Superman more than people give him credit for.
I think he's a delight. He's also a nerd. Like, he actually enjoys cons, and every time, anytime I've talked to him about comic stuff, he's way more in the know than a lot of folk. Like, he actually is pretty plugged into the nerd space, so I think he's just wonderful.
Then give me Routh. I changed my mind. I wanted to play the whole Fantastic Four.
Anybody.
Lucky BX, thank you for being here. And I wonder why Josh Duhamel is not considered for Mr. Fantastic. He's a good actor, and he resembles the character.
I've often wondered, like, Alex Ross definitely paints after some actors, and I've often wondered if there's ever a casting person that's like, let's just look at the people that, like, the people have been painting him like. And Josh Duhamel definitely has that vibe. I don't know if he's interested, but I've thought that was funny because he definitely looks like some Fantastic Four Alex Ross covers. Good call.
Gia, also loving the Bucky Barnes love in the chat. Keep holding it down, my dude. Sidra Zaidi. I have mixed feelings for Madam Web movie. I don't know if it's because it's a Sony movie, but something feels off. It's a quirky trailer. Like everything that comes out of the spunk is quirky and whooshy.
It's gonna
and it's
did
doing
you like
a
the
lot,
2000s
and
or
it's
not?
making choices. But I gotta say, yeah, that 2000s cannon blast of just of madness. It is exciting in a whole other way because I don't know. I feel like a Marvel or a DC trailer, and DC's about to be reset. But you kind of have an expectation of tone. Whereas, like, whenever we get a Sony, I'm like, I don't know.
Who knows what might happen?
What we're gonna get?
I just know it makes me want to put on some Junko jeans, and it makes me want to stroll into that theater with my Walkman, listening to Slipknot, maybe some Evanescence, and that is what I want to feel.
Wake me up, Lane Copeland. Thank you for joining in. At least the street level of the MCU is looking super promising at the moment. Can't wait for the Daredevil Spidey stuff. Looking forward. I mean, Echo looking surprisingly good. Kingpin looking surprisingly harsh, more Netflix-esque in that trailer. Yep. Certainly a good move. And yeah, I mean, where we left Peter off, going back to the more original, the more DIY. I feel like Spidey and Daredevil teaming up is maybe a little still down the line, but I'm looking forward to it. Daredevil show hopefully turns out good when they figure out what they're doing with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I lean more street level in the comic stuff, so I'm always excited when street level stuff gets announced.
Boogie. Johnny, thank you for joining in. Real quick, for both of you, favorite movie this year?
Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh boy, it's gonna be Saw X when I finally see it.
Yep, for sure.
That's what it'll be. I'll have to think. Oh goodness, what? Maybe I don't know. Barbie, Oppenheimer, like they're all up there. Yeah. For the Sony universe, I'll think on that. It's always the hardest to choose a fave, right? For the Sony universe, do you think they're doing a reverse of what the MCU did? This is Rick Alt again, and thank you. Each of these has been super generous. I really appreciate that. For the Sony universe, do you think they're doing a reverse of what the MCU did, where instead of having heroes leading up to fighting a villain, they're going to do villains leading up to fighting the hero Spider-Man? I think that is a cool theory.
I have been wanting for years them to do a Sinister Six that was like Oceans, where you get to meet all the criminals and they're like endearing and you're drawn to them. So I think having villain movies, especially if you can have the characters be likable, like Aaron Taylor Johnson, he's hunting poachers. He's still killing, but he's killing assholes. I think that's the move, and I think a Sinister Six movie with characters you're actually invested in, like how fun Tom Hardy's Venom is, etc., would be a way to make it fun to have them fight Spidey. Yes.
Groovy. Grand Raconteur. Thank you for joining in. Think we'll see Loki and Thor 5 brothers team up? I would be torn. I feel like Thor 5 might be a little soon for that, but also like, if it's going to be like the last Hemsworth, I might want some kind of brothers team up. So I don't know.
I if they're going to do Loki, they got to make sure it's the right tone, the right director. I don't want him to come back. I love where
we're already bringing Logan back after Logan.
Yeah.
So we got to be careful.
It's tricky.
Tread lightly. But yeah, I mean, like spiritually, I would love a brothers team up again, especially with the growth that Loki's been through and seeing how Thor reacts to all of that. That would be very interesting to me. Deadshot, thank you for joining in once again. I was introduced to the Marvel Zombies when I found the comic in my high school library. That's a cool-ass school.
Yeah.
Somehow, and I love the comic series, very excited for the show. Yeah, I mean, I thought the episode was okay. I understand that the zombies are I like what I understand about the zombie portrayal in the comics a bit more than how they did in the show. So I'm curious and cautiously optimistic about the show, but I am also sort of going in with that taste from the What If as my main touchstone for what it would be like. But
also, check your local library for comics. They often carry them, and if they don't physically have them, you can often request trade paperbacks. So comics are a lot more accessible than people think, and if you like them, then support a local comic store, but you can get a gateway at your library.
Some of my and Greg's formative comic book experiences were through the library, absolutely, back in the day. Extreme Viper 99, thank you so much. Best live-action Miles Morales, go!
14-year-old kid that I don't know. Like I want him to be young. You know what I mean? Like I really like. I don't know a lot of 14-year-old actors. Everyone I know
Caleb
is
McLaughlin.
Caleb McLaughlin. By the time they film season 5 of Stranger Things, that guy's gonna have a mortgage.
Don't even
if he doesn't already.
Don't even care.
But yeah, I want someone like 14. I want like a young. It doesn't have to be an unknown, but
one of the new Ninja Turtles.
Yeah,
Mutant Mayhem.
That kid from Haunted Mansion was great.
Sure, go for that. Skylar Hillman, Tom Cavanaugh as Doom.
I haven't watched a lot of Flash. My friend Jess was on it for a season, so I went and visited set a lot, and Tom Cavanaugh was very nice. He causes mischief on set and plays the bouncy ball sometimes during takes, which is very funny. But
beautiful.
I don't know his work. enough to comment. I just know the man is a delight.
Absolutely. Extreme Viper back in. Appreciate you. Don't want Infinity War copied with the Avengers losing just to win again. How would you lead Kang Dynasty into Secret Wars without that?
I would have them defeated by Kang and have Kang be defeated by Doom and have Doom be the ultimate power that we've never dealt with before, building Battleworld and requiring heroes from all different multiverses to team up to take him out, causing the need for the multiversal stuff in Deadpool we're about to get to turn into a positive as opposed to a negative, and then the ultimate sacrifice of a hero, a la Heroes Reborn in 1990-something series, to sacrifice themselves to save one through line, thus ultimately there not being a winner because we lose heroes in the process of saving the day.
Groovy. Rick Alt, thank you so much for the generous contribution. I'm really looking forward to Kraven. He's my favorite villain, and I hope they do him right for the movies. Coy, any comic recommendations for Kraven? Besides Last Hunt, I already read that one, and it was beautiful.
There's a sequel to Kraven's Last Hunt called The Grim Hunt, which is shockingly good considering it is, a sequel to one of the best ever. Or it's called Hunted. The two ones I want you to read are called Hunted and The Grim Hunt. I'm forgetting which one's which right now. I think it's Hunted is the sequel. Grim Hunt is also exceptional and very ethereal. And then I would say I'm a big fan of Torment, the Todd McFarlane Kraven stuff from 1990 and 91. Those are both exceptional. I literally made a TikTok like 4 days ago about Kraven comic recs, so check out my TikTok for all sorts of comic recs in general. I try to do like 1 or 2 a week of what to read if you like this character.
Hells
also,
yeah.
MJ in the chat is a librarian.
Yeah, go visit your local library. Shouts out to librarians everywhere, and especially you, my dear. Thanks for holding it down and for being such a lovely presence in the chat today.
Big library guy, big fan.
Lucky BX, why? Thank you for being here. My what the fudge moment with the Marvels is why did Carol have the other quantum band on at the end of the movie and not Kamala?
I think she gave it to her, but they didn't have any scene or any
It's a
sort
friendship
of
brace.
Yeah, they didn't give it any reason, and that would have been nice. And also any sort of, I got problems with the Marvels. They didn't say.
They didn't say. Yeah, I'm going with the friendship bracelet thing because I think Kamala would do that. And apparently, it doesn't seem like she really needs the big one.
Somehow. I wish they'd explain that too.
AJ, what are you talking about? AJ Bristol, Thunderbolts, thank you for being here, brother, and thank you for jumping in. Or whoever you are, AJ could be any set of names. Thunderbolts, in the movie, we find out Doom is the one pulling the strings. Pull the string! The Young Avengers and the Thunderbolts try to stop Doom, but fail. All while reality is breaking more and more in the 616/1999999. This is kind of like what you were saying before. I think you're on a similar wavelength.
Yeah, I think we're on a very
theory.
similar page.
Absolutely.
And that's fun. Yeah, I think we're going to be finding all of that happening, and I think we're thinking similarly.
When Coy gets hired at Marvel, you will be his assistant.
I'll be reaching out.
Deadshot back in the chat. Thank you so much. Imagine Kang Dynasty involved Doom, and he teams up with the heroes. But in the end, he kills Kang the way he kills Thanos, holding his spine and skull in the end, created Battleworld, leading to Secret Wars. SW. I always have to calibrate my mind. I'm like, are we talking sex work, Star Wars, or something else?
There's a lot of SWs out in the game. I really think that was their original plan. Maybe not the graphic R-rated violence because I don't think PG-13 would allow for the skull. But maybe. But yeah, I think that's what they were going to do, and it's a bummer if that doesn't get to happen.
Absolutely. Masker Riz, appreciate you joining in. 2 quick things, and we got to keep it quick, but appreciate you here. Love you guys, and Greg, keep up all the good work and positive vibes. We'll do our best. That's the believe it or not, that's the MO around here. And 2, Coy going off on all the haters last stream really made my day.
I'm glad I didn't have to today. I'm glad it's been chill. I needed the rest.
Absolutely.
I'm tired.
But we all love a good Coy rant. I feel you. Raccoon Shampoo, thank you once again for joining in. After Peacemaker and Andor, I'm excited for Echo and that Agatha Harkness show, whatever they're calling it this month. They have changed that quite a few times. It always seems to be the who asked for this shows that turn out well, and I think that makes sense because I think they're under a little less pressure in a way. I think the who asked for this are often freer to go do their own thing a little bit and not have to worry about bigger stakes.
and people complaining it wasn't what they imagined. That's the hardest part about making a comic into a movie is it's a director, an actor, a writer, all these different visions. And if it's not what you thought it was, people get mad, and that's not fair. So a lesser-known property has more flexibility because you're not assuming a lot.
Absolutely. Masker Riz back in. Appreciate you. Also, has Coy seen Arcane? If not, I already know he will fall in love with it, but knowing my luck, he probably has and didn't like it.
I couldn't get into it.
Oh, Coy!
I tried. It wasn't for me.
Coy, I'm going to kill you after this.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to murder you in
so
front
glad
of everyone.
people love it. I'm so glad people love it. Friends of
You're
mine worked
dead
on it.
to me.
Just not for me.
It's okay. It's okay.
So sorry.
Mason Frost, we love you. We appreciate you. I think that Rudy Pankow as Johnny Storm would be on the same level of perfect as Ebon for The Thing. His character in Outer Banks is literally Johnny.
I don't know Rudy Pankow, but he's got a cool name.
He does have a cool name.
Let's look up quickly Rudy Pankow with the speed.
That's the
Pankow. Oh, he looks like a Johnny Storm
I've
for
seen this
sure.
guy. I've seen this guy. Okay,
Big
not
Johnny
bad.
Storm vibes.
He was in Uncharted, the best video game.
Oh, I talked to him
adaptation.
at the No Way Home premiere. He was really nice.
Perf.
And there's a photo of him, and I was like, wait, I've seen that man. Oh, wait, I was literally at that moment.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, you were there.
El Mache, and I must have not have maybe talked to him too. I
Yeah.
don't know. I was there. I was there somewhere. El Mache, thank you so much for jumping in. I want to see Ben Grimm to be visibly Jewish, even if for a short scene. I need my Jewish heroes to represent more than just saying Mazel Tov once. Hugs. Agree. Coy, do you agree?
Yeah, I think anytime,
The MC Jews need
that's
to
what's-
show up.
That's what's going to be the newest problem people have with anything. Yeah, I think that anytime culture is a big part of a character, it's really wonderful to see people that identify with that culture getting someone that they can latch onto and like feel for. Like I cannot even explain how I'm not even like from Ireland Irish. I'm like my great grandparents were from Ireland, but hearing Barry in Eternals meant so much to me because of how much I like love Irish culture, and whenever I visit Ireland, I feel connected. So yeah, I want that for people to have that in their characters.
Absolutely. All right, we're gonna have to go
I'm so trying.
super lightning with this because we still got a few of these left. What do we super chat? Okay, cool. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure Marvel is destroying its brand with these constant reshoots. That's overworking the VFX team, ballooning their budgets. $250 million budgets, too much. And I agree with you. Yeah, I agree. I think the modular way they shoot these things
Doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, and they're
Didn't work before, but they were making enough money that it didn't have to not work.
yeah, and it just seems like they're already spending so much time and resource on things that might just get junked and reworked entirely. And I don't think it helps the storytelling or the overall success of the franchise in particular. So yeah, I think this phase we have gone way too far down that path, and we should rein it in. Seconds from Disaster, thank you so much for being here. They need to do a solo Doom movie to flesh out his backstory. I feel the MCU will nerf and underutilize Doom and make him feel rushed.
I don't think they have time to make a full-fledged Doom movie with their schedule, and that's one of the reasons you shouldn't map out things so far, because it does undermine the ability to make things on the fly that you might need.
Yeah. Zari Severino Jr. Picture this. Council reads. Pascal is 616 Reed. Krasinski, Griffith, Teller show up from F4. I think that Kang Dynasty happens, recast or not.
I think a Council Reads would be a lot of fun, and maybe that's why we were hearing all the rumors. Winston over Capes and Cowles had a good idea that like maybe Jake does play him, but that would be confusing because of Mysterio and whatnot. But like you have all the rumors as a Reed. I do think it's a bit of a hard sell to an audience just discovering Reed Richards, but maybe it would work because we did have Krasinski.
Absolutely. And hey, here's hoping that they still find a way to do their Kang Dynasty and don't have to rewrite everything. Michael Walters, how do y'all feel about the title of the Avengers 5 being called Avengers Siege at Castle Doom, and King's blended the Siege story line leading into Secret Wars? Love the channel.
The Siege storyline was very popular for a reason. I don't know if they'll go that way in the movies to introduce him, but it would be a fun way to start into that, and I think that following the framework of a successful comic is smart. We'll see.
Absolutely. Michelle, thank you so much. If you could play any past or future MCU character, who would it be?
If you could play any past or future MCU character, would it be? I've always wanted to play either Johnny Storm or Carnage. I think both would be a lot of fun, and both have been up here for a long time. Or Flash Thompson actually went out for Flash in the Andrew Garfield era.
Loki. GMAS 2005.
Ooh, be a good Loki.
Thanks, man. What directors would you guys want to see directing Secret Wars coming off Loki? I honestly think your boys, Aaron Moorhead and Justin Benson, would do an amazing job. I agree with that.
Couldn't be more biased, but yes.
Yep. Justin and Aaron, just give them everything.
Give them whatever they want.
That's always what the internet says, and it's never too much.
No, they don't need sleep. They need make art.
We got Gala Ghost in here. Andres, how you doing, brother? Love you. Hey, gentlemen, been a while since I caught a live stream. Sending you love from Boston.
Yeah, I'm
Cheers,
so jealous,
my
man.
friends.
Enjoy
Cheers.
it there. Breathe it in
love
for me.
You get that Dunkin' Donut air.
Yeah, kid.
James Jennings, when and how do you think the MCU will show us that we've been watching the multiverse for a long time, and who's in that in what multiverse together, in what universe together? I think we'll get that sense pretty soon, probably even with like a Deadpool 3.
Yeah, I think either either Deadpool 3 or Kang Dynasty or whatever Secret Wars 1 is going to be is going to spell that all out for us.
Absolutely. Looks like it. Galaghost again. John, love your choices for the Film Fest based on the letters of your first name. If you could do a stream of your favorite movies here, what did you pick? Ooh, I mean, some of my favorite movies would Ed Wood is my favorite movie. I love a lot of horror stuff like The Thing and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Night of the Living Dead. I love the Before trilogy and things like that. I guess those would be movies that I would be inclined to like chill and chat about. So that's kind of what comes to mind. But I loved that prompt. That like it's do a film festival. With the acronym of your name, basically. So like a J movie, an O movie, an H movie, and an N movie. So I did Jumanji, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, Haxan, and Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
and I think
love
that.
that.
Is a perfect film festival. Galaghost, Coy, you just found out that your all-time favorite movie is Fight Club. Just found out that your all-time favorite movie is Fight Club. I haven't seen it yet. Reaction at some point. My number 2.
It's always going to cause that reaction.
Can you just wax poetic about why it's your favorite movie of all time, please? You got 20 seconds.
Briefly waxing poetic. I think it's a beautiful litmus test for people. If you think Tyler Durden is the protagonist, you and I are probably going to have disparate views. But if you see as an antagonist and you are able to define what you are as a man, like I love that it's a movie about masculine energy that really tells you a lot about the man watching it. And I love that a movie that has important messages for men is able to be so popular and that also a lot of people misinterpret it. I think it's perfectly shot, perfectly written, perfectly edited. I think it's a rare, perfect movie as far as all of its pieces, and it is literally the coolest character, but if you're trying to be cool and if you're doing things that harm others, that negates a lot of things, and I think it really shows who you are as a person by how you interpret Tyler Durden.
Gia. Robert Fife, I caught you earlier. Matt Berry. Matt Berry is Doom. What do y'all think? I couldn't think of a better choice. He should be
Line
Doom.
readings alone.
Oh, mwah. Yes, please, and thank you. Lloyd, 10+, thank you for joining in. I'm a firm believer that my baby girl, Wanda, is still alive. I am too. I'm hoping that we find her having slipped to the X-Men universe where Monica is now.
I agree. I think we're going to see a lot more Wanda. If Lizzie wants to come back as the character, I think they gave her an out with that death. But I think it ended that character, but she's definitely not gone. And I know my pants are Scottish. They're good Scottish pants. I see you, chat.
Boogie. Lloyd, 10+, also, by the way, friggin' love you guys. Love you too. Appreciate you. Much rock and roll energy. Grand Raconteur, what do you think of Cillian Murphy for Doom? Coy named him as a fan cast.
I did.
Like
in the Irish casting of Fantastic Four, I think he's a little small on the physical side, so you'd need to cast someone else as the body because he's like 5'7", but otherwise lovely.
Masqueriz, thank you. If you were both made head of DC Creative, what would your first respective projects be?
Mr. Miracle, because otherwise I don't think it'll ever get made, and I think that story is very important to modern pop culture and a very unique tale that only DC could really tell.
All right, I'm going to do like a weird Ra's al Ghul origin movie.
Zatanna's my second greenlight, though.
Yes.
Both of ours. We're going to team up for Zatanna.
We're teaming up for Zatanna, and that kicks off the new you. Quentin, based off how Amazing Spider-Man 2 was, what do you think or what do you want Insomniac's Wolverine to be about? Ooh, golly, I am not the gamer in the crowd. I guess I would just want... I don't know. The Spider-Man games just have such a deeply, rich storytelling. It seems like combined with I don't know what would equate to like the magic of the swinging. I've heard people constantly talk about.
I think a Berserker Rage where you get into a flow, and it'd be really cool to have like
the.
My main focus is going to be on the fight. What do they call it when you mechanics? Fight mechanics are going to be the swing mechanics. I think of Wolverine.
Boogie, Heather Gear, love you. Thank you for joining in the chat as well. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Sending good vibes for the weekend. Love you guys. Love you too. Appreciate you very much. And jumping over for the Patreon as well. Rick Alt, thank you so much for jumping in again. Coy, any comic book recommendations for Kid Nova? He's become one of my favorite heroes since I saw him in the Ultimate Spider-Man show, and I want to learn more about him. Also, do you think we'll see him in the MCU before or after Secret Wars?
I think we'll see him probably in Secret Wars. I think we're going to introduce a new few characters they're going to bring into the new era of Marvel. I think Nova's going to be one of those because they've teased him for so long, but I don't think there's a property that's going to fit him before then. But I think you should read the current Nova run. Well, it just ended, but like 2019 had a Nova run that featured Kid Nova, and he's also a really cool character in Champions. Pick up Champions issue 1 that came out in like 2019 by Mark Waid. That'll be a really good Nova run for you to get to the modern day.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And hey, Mr. E.T., Rufus Sewell in Dark City is fantastic.
Yeah.
True, that underrated movie. Go check it out. JP, what hope do we have for Rebel Moon, knowing Snyder has a bad history with his world building and storytelling? See Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, Sucker Punch. Cautiously optimistic. Yeah, Zack Snyder makes these very, heavy wrought things, and I often tend to at least enjoy some aspect of them. I'm just waiting to see if this is one of the ones that, particularly grabs me. I could see it going either way.
I think a Star Wars-esque universe does a lot of the storytelling for him, and I think the visuals look fantastic, and I'm really excited for Rebel Moon because I'm excited he gets to play in his own sandbox instead of playing with IP that other people have associations with.
Boom. Raccoon Shampoo, do you guys have any thoughts on or plans to cover the new Percy Jackson adaptation? Maybe. Not sure about coverage. It's possible since it is a prominent property. We'll see. Haven't read the books, haven't seen the movies, so I don't have any opinions about it.
Oh, I haven't seen him either.
Hey,
let's watch Percy Jackson.
Let's watch Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson. I don't have any connotation, so yeah, let's watch Percy Jackson.
Boom. We got excitement at the very least. Deadshot Fishburne would have been amazing. Doctor Doom, I agree with you. But, too bad he's already Goliath or whatever that guy's name is.
Who's showing up in What If Season 2, it looks like.
Yeah, look out. Grand Raconteur. Follow up to my list, if not Killing Murphy as Doom, is there an MCU character you'd like to see him as? Thoughts on Oppenheimer? It blew me away, pun intended. Oppenheimer, terrific. Did a whole review on it. Loved him. Pretty much loved the movie. And, who else real quick in the MCU?
Real quick, I think it'd be really cool to do a Generation X movie where Emma Frost and Banshee are the leaders of the school, and he'd be an incredible Banshee.
Boom. Raccoon Shampoo, if Kang Dynasty is scrapped, will they replace it with a different Avengers movie, or will we just skip straight to Secret Wars?
I think they'll do a Secret Wars Part 1 and Part 2. They'll probably name it something else, but it'll effectively feel like a 2-part Secret Wars movie.
Boom. Masker Riz, I'd like to recommend a YouTube channel to you guys. I'm going to screenshot this then. Georgia Dow, she's a licensed therapist who likes all the nerd stuff we do, and she's able to psychoanalyze the characters. It's so unique. I love a good expert reacts.
Love that very much. Cool idea.
Absolutely.
Legal Eagle, apparently not a lawyer for SSS Sniper. I learned that 2 weeks ago in a live stream.
Oh, God. Bucky Barnes, smash the like button like Koi smashes weights. You are a swole nerd, and I appreciate you for it. Joe O'Keefe, keep the faith, brothers in love. Appreciate you. We're keeping the love alive, and thank you for helping us do that all the way out in the Europe. Rick Alt's last question, since Thanksgiving is coming up, what are your top 3 favorite foods to eat on Thanksgiving? Mine are stuffed mashed potatoes and deviled eggs. Love you guys. I hope you have a good day. I like a mashed potato is your classic starch. I'm gonna go off the beaten path. I'm gonna say we make like a homemade biscuit every year that I kind of look forward to accompany everything. I like the I don't know. I feel like all my choices are going to be kind of shitty.
Stuffing, but the cheap stuff. If you make homemade stuffing, I don't trust you. I want stovetop. I want soggy bread. I want broth in my stuffing. That's it. Mashed potatoes, obviously, they're the best. And pecan pie. Big pecan pie.
The gravy, and the mash. Let's do this.
Boom.
Shouts out to a good green bean accoutrement as
Ooh,
well.
I like
and
a good green bean.
Hope y'all have a good Thanksgiving when it comes. Stephanie Horton, thank you and goodbye. Hope you had a good stream. If you're seeing this still, thank you for the sticker. Dart Car. Oh my God, we've done it! We've done it! Dart Car! Why did Aunt May die if Uncle Ben already did?
Because everyone dies, and your parents are both going to die, so prepare for that.
Because life is short and everybody dies
We're all
someday.
Dying. You learn new lessons from each death, just like you learn new lessons from each birth and each marriage and each relationship you ever have. They all have different lessons to teach you, and appreciate every relationship you had because it's going to end, and as will you.
All right, gang, we are going to do one final refresher just to make sure we are all caught up. But seriously, thank you so much for being here, for contributing, for supporting the channel. We got a couple stragglers here that we're going to read off for the very, very end, and then we are out. Audi A4, my friend. And it looks like, yes, we are done with the Super Chats to the last of the Streamlabs, and then we're getting out of here. Thank you guys, seriously, for being here. We couldn't do this without your just, love and attention, for lack of a better, more humble way of phrasing that. Nidak Regnirog. First, just want to say I love y'all like Pim loves ants. I have a theory that the Kang that died in Ant-Man is just stuck in a probability storm like Ant-Man was, and his probabilities will fight each other in the last one. Standing becomes Kang Prime. I like that theory.
I love that theory, and also the ability of maybe in that time where he's stuck, he gains more power, and thus he becomes able to conquer time, and that's how he gets out of the probability storm. I think that was one of their ideas originally, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen now.
Beautiful. Seth Arp, taking us home, 2-parter here. Thank you so much. I'd love to hear your thoughts on who should be the next 3 to to 5 main villains for the MCU post-Kang. Doom and Galactus are already coming down the pike in the midst of Kang's reign. So who do you think will go? Who do you go to top that and raise the universal multiversal stakes? Also, if and when the MCU ever does officially end, who's your final villain? Or maybe is there a previous villain you'd bring back with a new mission or motivation?
He wants us to write a paper.
This is an essay.
I think that if the MCU does end, it'll end in a reboot. I think they will be doing that with Secret Wars. I think that basically they're allowing themselves to redo everything, and they're going to be focused more on the X-Men and the Fantastic Four. So I think Doom is going to be a great carryover as one of the main villains. I think that we're going to see more original villains of the X-Men we haven't seen before, like Omega Red. I think we might see fun stuff like Arcade. I think we might see crazy stuff like, Galactus. But I think it's going to be leaning towards those Fox characters for a little bit because I do think that's going to be new and original. I think that answers most of those in one broad sweep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Coy, you did it.
We did it.
Yeah, I was going to say.
We did it.
You squeezed some potential future villains in there, I think.
Man.
Right? All right. Guys, thank you. This has been a marathon.
Thank you.
But seriously, I know we say it a lot, and saying things a lot can sometimes make them seem trite. But we really, really, really do appreciate you, especially for me. Like, I haven't gotten to do one of these streams in a while. This has been so much fun. Thank you all for just your time, for your thoughts, and yes, for your contributions, because they do help out a ton.
Kindest stream to date.
Kindest stream to date.
Thank you.
Appreciate
and I know
you
it's fun
guys.
to watch me rant, but know that it affects
Yeah.
me after, and my blood pressure thanks you. Like,
Yeah.
I needed this good one so I can do these again. Because after the last one, I was like, maybe no more live streams. This was amazing. I appreciate
You've
you.
restored Koi's faith. So, yeah, thank you guys. And a special thank you and shout out to Chris Wamoff for, again, multiple weeks being so generous to us and you in ways that, people don't even see behind the scenes and whatnot. Really super. I'm humbled when I see something like
CW
that.
Network.
Because, we're just here in the room and it feels like we're just chatting and stuff like that. But it really means a lot to have you guys support in whatever form it comes in. So, yeah, Chris, thank you in particular. Thank all of you guys.
Hit that like on your way out
hit
because
that
it'll
like
get
on your
people to
way
see
out.
it, and they'll come join the channel, and we can
Send
do
some
more of
love.
these. Thank you.
Absolutely. Send
So
some
much
love
love.
to Bucky Barnes, and we'll catch you on the next one. Hope we got everybody's thoughts and inquiries in, and if you got anything left over, bring it next time, and we'll talk about it. We'll see you soon. Much love, and happy Thanksgiving. Be well, people. Cheers.